I didn't have the button pushed. I couldn't see anybody. I'm sitting here with the laser printer making some little a disc for my grandniece who wants some cookie looking disc to go in her easy bake oven. The one that the dad took the element out, but he also threw away the plastic cookies. But hey, we're going to get past that.
Yeah. Last week we had Dan Grimes, I believe. He was showing how to do the cross.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I actually made one, and this is from spalted maple, and so I showed it to my daughter. I said, well, I made one. She said, how about my kids? So I have to make two more. Then my wife's sister came over, so she said, well, I need one and the kids need one. And I said, okay.
Wait a minute. I warned you guys about that. So
yes,
there was a warning.
Yeah,
You prefaced it.
You did.
Yeah. So, well, it's nice. It's not a very hard cross to make, but I'm sure that there is different ways how to make it and embellish it, you know, and do some different woods in there.
It only takes a personal touch and talent. You got it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, this was a pleasure. I'm glad I sat on that and I figured out how to do the cross by doing this round and then cut it on the bandsaw. And I like the way he showed how to cut it and be safe doing it at the same time. So your hands are away from that blade. That was pretty neat.
I was going to show mine last week. I did mine about a year ago. And when Dean brought that up, I went and grabbed it. And I said, let me, I was going to show it last week, but we ran out of time.
Oh, there you go. That's nice.
Yeah.
I love it. We ran out of time. This won't go a whole hour, Ryan. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we only on 3 hours and we're running out of time.
I love it. Ronnie and I heard when Ronnie and I sat down and started putting this thing together, we had guys, and even on the air when we first got started, they said, you know, that won't work out. You'll never be able to go a whole hour. And now we're going 3 hours. Here we are, 30 minutes into it, and we have 79 people tuned in, sharing. I gotta take that back and say that we have 79 people sharing information on this. This is the bus we wanted to be on the whole time.
Yeah.
Right.
Boy,
Well, if you guys didn't shut it down, it would probably go even longer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
did he say shut it down? Did he put those words together?
No, I said if you didn't shut it down, it would probably go even longer.
Oh, I look, Dane has talked until midnight and we all gone.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, well.
Party on Wild Wash.
Hey, Eddie, when you get ready to shut it down, just revert the host back to me.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, you want that to happen? It's fine.
Yeah, go ahead and revert it back to me and I'll, we'll keep it. There's some good BS conversations going on past that.
All right.
Sometimes.
Oh, there is. And sometimes that's the only time people come out of the woodwork and get involved. And, that's okay with me. Come out, get involved, share what you know. I've got 1, 2, 3. I got 5 notes already tonight. We're just getting cranked up.
Right. Hey, let's go take a look at what Bob's got made already.
Go for it, Bob. Bob, you're live and direct.
All right, hey guys.
Live and
Got
proud.
I don't know if you can see it or not, but
Those are nice.
card holder.
Yeah, I saw that online today or
Yeah,
yesterday.
that is a real good idea.
Did, and that is really neat. I like that.
That's great for the grandmothers and older people with rheumatoid arthritis that likes to play canasta.
Yeah, that's it.
No, it's great for my granddaughters who can't hold cards. For kids.
Wow.
Easy
Yeah,
to
we're
do.
Kids that can't hold cards, it's a good way of them, if they can still play.
Bob,
Yeah,
you
mine
got
looks
one
great.
out of it?
Make the bottom a little bigger, you put your poker chips in it.
Oh, yeah, there's room there. You can put something
Okay.
on it.
What
Got a little
radius is
platform.
that?
Or your
Huh?
pennies or remote.
What
That's
radius
pretty
is
neat.
that?
It's 10 inches, 10 inches
Thank
in
you.
diameter. and 2 inches thick.
Bob,
you.
did you get 4 out of it?
No, only 2. You mark a center line and then you come back 1 inch and go across the center to the other side. So you only get 2 out of a circle.
And I need to learn how to make that.
Hold it up for a little bit longer. We play rummy. Me and
Uh-huh.
my family, we play rummy. Well, every night, all the nights that we can possibly play. My kids play with us. Noah, wouldn't that be awesome for you since you don't hold your cards upright?
Well, that's about,
That's
it's a
perfect.
10-inch
right? That'd
diameter,
be
you said.
cool.
Yes, 10 inches diameter, 2 inches thick.
Thank you
The
for
slot on the
remembering.
side's 1 1/4 inch.
Okay.
And anything else you could do, and whatever you want to with it.
I
It's a
can
slide.
see him doing that in resin next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. We'll
That'd
have
be
him his cars up properly in no time.
Yeah, that's really good.
How wide?
Probably start beating us.
Hey, Brenda. Brenda,
You gotta teach us how to make it.
Slide
Brenda,
on.
that would be right up your alley. When a bowl comes off the lathe, you can do that with it.
Right, right.
Fail.
Yeah.
We got,
a save.
well, we got that in early.
Yeah, Ronnie, we're supposed to be gentler than that.
Look, her face don't even get red anymore.
Uh,
I think Ronnie's
Yes, it is.
I think Ronnie's projecting because he's asked that question twice already.
All
What are you trying
right,
to
Brenda,
tell us,
show us
Ronnie?
show us your bowls.
Okay. This,
Nice lead in, right?
yeah, this is a little bowl I made last week. This is
Good material.
very nice.
It's a piece of red elm that I finished with Parfix 3408.
Hey,
Pretty.
is that a convert? We got another convert.
And then I made a couple eggs.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, a little one and a big one.
I saw a guy do a demo on that the other day. He was pretty good. And those look really
Yeah.
great.
And these I used the Parfix too, but
They look great.
I'm having a little trouble with the paper towel sticking to it. So,
Staying on it too long.
Excellent.
and
Very
then
nice.
this is the one I did today.
There's a hole in the bottom of it.
There's 2 holes in the bottom of it.
Let's see what's in it.
Right?
Got hold of somehow, right?
Yeah. So, and it's got some runs in it from the 3408, and this is the one that came off the lathe about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. If you ask Kim, she'll tell you to put some epoxy in there.
Are those bug holes?
Yeah, well, I thought about that, but then I thought, you know what, it's not gonna hold cereal, so.
Hey, Brenda.
It adds
Make
character.
it a pedestal foot for it.
Brenda, if it's
Make a
got
little
holes in it, that
pedestal
means
foot
it's
for it.
art. Exactly.
Yeah.
Or a popcorn bowl.
Little bug hole.
More for
Won't
it.
hold soup.
Brenda, I got a question for you.
What, Ronnie?
Look on the back of that bowl. How deep is that recess?
Deep
Well,
enough.
that one,
Huh?
there was actually 2 of them there. Because the original one down here was like, oh, maybe 1/8 of an inch. And that's why it came off the lathe.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
You do know that the bottom of the jaws is not supposed to hit the wood.
Yes.
As deep as that is, it looks like it'd be
No.
resting on your truck.
Now, because from here to this one is holding it. Oh, good. And it wasn't hitting it wasn't bottoming out.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Honey, I'm gonna help her with the argument. Somebody snuck in and moved it, so it fell off.
Did you have it catch one on the initial 1/8 recess? Because the 1/8 recess should have been plenty to hold it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
As long as you don't get
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
on the inside.
Yeah, well,
Are you
at
over?
least 3 times.
So Brenda, when you're tightening the chuck into the recess, are you over tightening? Are you tightening real tight?
Yeah.
That's why it's popping off, because you're splitting your wood grains. It doesn't need to be that tight. Think about changing an oil filter on a car. You hand tighten an oil filter on a car. So when you're doing your recess, it's essentially the same thing, just a little bit tighter than hand tight.
That's a good tip, but also if you're using a set of jaws that have the serrated edges on them or the ridged edges, you need to stay closer to the size of the jaws rather than just wing it, take a wild ass guess, pardon me, and just I've seen people, demonstrators do that. Okay, let's see if that fits. Use a template, make sure it fits.
Right.
If it's green wood, you have to keep checking it from time to time because the wood changes and you either have to retighten it a little bit or it will get loose.
True.
Right. This one was real dry though. Matter of fact, I think this is a piece of the honey locust.
Yeah, it looks like locust.
Yeah, which is hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it sure is pretty.
I like twisted grain.
Yeah, I had a lot of trouble cutting this.
But it's beautiful work, Brenda, beautiful work.
Good job.
Yeah,
Well done.
it's good enough for me.
Ronnie, did you notice that there aren't any Band-Aids on Brenda's fingers?
I didn't say that.
I ain't got no Band-Aids, but I just got a lot of the Parfix 3408.
All right, we'll mark some lays on here. We'll
Moving
get some-
along.
That'll wear off.
Hey,
We've
check out her
milked that
toes.
cow.
She might have Band-Aids on her toes.
Let's go.
Okay, you got me, I take it.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I got you, Brent.
Well, you know, you can use the super glue instead of a Band-Aid, so.
Great it.
Okay, I turned this little aspen vessel. It's my first attempt at a lidded vessel here and such, so it just was a fun little project. Did some dyeing on it and such, so.
That's pretty.
Nice finish. Really nice.
That dye on it.
Really
nice.
Yeah.
What kind of dyes did you use, Brent?
I'm sorry?
What kind of dyes? Which dyes?
I just actually I use trans tint dye in some alcohol. So
Yeah.
it seems to be the easiest way to go for me. So I got the trans tint on hand already and such. So
Right. Yeah, it looks good. Looks real good.
Ready.
Thank you, Brent.
that's it tonight. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Brent.
Are those blues and greens or what's the color? Well, actually on that I started out with yellow. Well, initially black, and then I sanded the black off just to highlight the grain. I put some yellow on it, and then I think I did some blue. And I put shellac down on it first, and as you wipe the alcohol dye, it pulls all together off the shellac because it softens the shellac in there. It's kind of a neat process. So I kind of figured out. So it's just there's a lot of green and stuff in there, but it's actually just blue, purple, and yellow. Yeah, it's pretty.
Good mix. Really
Nice
nice.
job.
Very nice.
Good.
I was going
All
to
right,
say
let's-
the inside of that, your vessel has really nice figure.
Yeah, that's just kind of standard aspen.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
All the aspen I've ever done is real pale, so it doesn't look as gorgeous as.
I think this being an end grain, it comes out a lot more on end grains than going side grain and such too.
Yeah.
And then I finished that with that's just an oil finish, Howard's oil stuff polish thing. So
The
Howard's
feed
feed and
wax.
yeah, beeswax, orange oil, and something else in there. I think linseed oil. Or something. I'm not sure.
Well, smell great.
There it is.
Right. All right.
What you got next, Dean?
Randy. How you doing, Randy? I think you're new.
Yeah, can I screen share?
I'm sorry?
I can screen share, hang on.
Well, not until we turn it. Okay.
This is a batch of Freedom Pens that I did about 3 to 4 weeks ago. And started out with 30 and successfully completed 29 of them. and one died in process. So that's a bunch of pens that I made. Just took me about 2 weeks to make them.
Yeah, beautiful work.
Very
Very
good.
nice.
Very nice.
They're
Nice
all
pens.
maple and cherry.
That three ring burn line sort of your signature pen?
Yeah, most of the pens I make for the Freedom Pens have that mark on them.
I do too. That's 3 stripes for a sergeant. That's how I would turn mine out.
All right, thank you. Gary, how are you?
We're still in a sharing mode here. Okay, now we're back.
Okay. I did a cross also. Haven't finished
Oh, how
yet.
about that?
It's 3 1/4 inches in diameter, and I'm not 100% sure what it is because it came off of a tree we cut down down in our lake house, and it was not an oak, and so there's some bark on it yet, and I'm not ready yet to be 2x4, but that came from a 2x4.
Okay.
And I'm going to make some more things before I submit my
Your
product.
official entry?
Yeah, that's right.
You're official? Right on.
But I've got one, and my granddaughter loves to chew on it.
Excellent.
So I won't be finishing it, putting any kind of a finish on it.
Thank you, sir. Beautiful work.
In the club, Gary.
I'm sorry?
I said that gets you in the club.
Well, I'm going to submit some other things too, but anyway, yes.
We welcome that.
Right? Very good. All right.
I'm looking here. I think I do think we have a card for Gary. I got to see if it's here. And then he look. Go ahead to it. Whoops.
Yeah, this is Alfred.
Yeah, there we
Look at
go.
there.
Oh,
Look at
there you
that.
go.
Kabam! You'll
Bam.
be added to the list on the website.
Wow.
Thank you.
All right, back to Alfred. Hi again, sir. Oh, what
Okay.
happened?
You got
Go back again.
There we go.
There he is.
Okay. My name is Alfred. I belong to the Detroit area with Turner's Club. And I saw a picture of somebody made a zipper on a vase. And this was my first attempt at making one. And I don't have the actual one with me right now, but this was the first one I did. It's about 4 inches in diameter. It's about 6 inches tall. And then I decided to make a bigger one. And this is the one I just finished.
Ah,
Whoa.
That's
Those are
nice.
nice.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's cool.
this is about 12 inches tall, 5 inches diameter, and I want it to look like it's like a necklace around a female, and the zipper. It doesn't open, but I mutilated the zipper and I cut a groove here where it fits, and I also have a rabbit going all the way down,
okay.
all the way around here, and that's where the zipper fits. It's on the rabbit there.
Yeah.
And then I cut each leg and I just joined them right at the very tip up here. So I had to cut one side very close to the metal, and the other side I had to leave the material so as I get the spacing in there.
Right.
And it's nice. Then I airbrushed it with I mixed the paint myself. It's supposed to represent like the color of a pool, and then I have lacquer finish on it after that.
Okay.
And
That's nice.
and the inside
That
is
is
black.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's
Nice
very
work.
impressive.
yeah, yeah.
Beautiful piece.
So
Wow.
Thanks for
What do you
showing.
cut the what do you cut the rabbit with?
I actually cut it with a safety edge, like a cuts-all. It's not a
Yeah.
cuts-all, it's, we get them here from a guy.
Saber tooth.
Saber tooth, thank you, Matt. Saber tooth, but it's round, it's half-inch round, but the top does not have any teeth on it, so it's a safety. So when you're coming down here, cutting down here, I can, it does not cut on the back, it only cuts down. So I can get a clean cut. What I did first, you know, after I drew this, I put a hole down here, and then I used a air saw, and I just cut it close, and then I could sand it down so as to get the inside surface. And then I wanted to cut the rabbet so that I just leave only enough step for the zipper to sit, because I didn't want the wood to show on the side here.
Yeah.
Right.
So
That's some beautiful detail work, Alfred.
yeah, thank you. It's just a lot of playing around, and then actually it's a bit tedious to glue the zipper there. I used CA to glue it because I didn't want to use epoxy, because you know epoxy is not thin enough, and I was afraid that it's gonna start oozing out like from the sides or the top. So I used I did one side up to here, glued it, and then I taped it in like that, and did the same here on this one. And then I glued, then I cut where I wanted it here, and I glued it, and I glued it, and I left it like that for about half an hour, and it was done. So
Good result.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It is.
yeah.
Simple, brilliant.
I had seen one on somewhere on YouTube maybe, and they had the zipper that went up to here, up to the edge. So that's when I decided to go all the way around and make it, you know, as a continuous one.
Right.
And
All right. All right, everybody, next week's project is a zippered bowl like that. Come on.
I'm out.
I'm out. I gotta get a bigger lathe. I gotta get longer tools.
Yeah, that's above my pay grade.
The bit you used to cut the recess for the zipper, what did you do to it to make it do that? The bit you used for the zipper to cut the recess.
To
you have it
cut,
handy, Alfred?
to cut
You have
this
the bit?
rabbit here, to cut this. I used a saber tooth round, half-inch round. I used the white, which is not as aggressive as the red or the green. And what it does on the top, it's flat and there is no teeth. So it's not gonna, even if what you push this way, it's not gonna cut. It only cuts down. So you hold it flat and it's turning like this in this dimension, and you press and you just go along the line that you have already drawn, and you just keep going down until you can get flush, that the zipper is gonna sit flush on there for you.
So there's no teeth on the bottom of it, you said.
There is no, well, imagine.
Hey, Trey,
Imagine
here's
if this.
the bit. Trey, here's the bit in the chat.
Yeah, there is a teeth. If this is the bit here, there is teeth on here, okay, but there is no teeth on the end. So when you push it down, it's not gonna cut that way. It's only gonna cut down. So you draw towards you. You don't want to go backwards because you'll be climb cutting and you're gonna go all over. You want to cut towards you, and you take a layer at a time, but it will never cut that way because there is no teeth on this side. Okay, there's only teeth on the outside circumference, not on the flat. And they call the safety edge. If you go to the saber tooth website, you can see them over there.
Matt just put the link up to it, folks. It's in our chat.
Yeah.
Very good. So the
and the
See,
one
that's
I
what
used, yeah, the
that's
one
what
I
we're
used
all
is,
about.
yeah, the one I used is white, which is very mild. They just came out with them actually a few months ago, and you know, it's not as aggressive. But the secret is you have to always draw towards you, because if you go the other way, because of the revolution, the way it turns, it's gonna, what we call climb cutting. It's gonna go again. So you pull towards you, you're always cutting that way.
Right.
Right.
Well,
So
you
the
figure it out once you do it a couple of times, you know,
Yeah.
I can go that way.
Yeah.
So on the zipper,
That's good. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
on the
All right.
zipper itself, you cut all the material off.
Yes, what I did with the zipper, I cut everything, and here I just left the material, the metal
The
only.
metal. Yeah,
Yeah, I
okay.
just left the metal.
Yeah, I see. Thanks.
So
Oh, boy, I can see
Right
this.
on.
We're gonna see a birdhouse with a zipper in it.
Yep, birdhouse with a zipper. All right.
hey, that
Robert,
gives
how
me an
are you,
idea.
sir?
Hi, Kate inspired me to try eggs, so I did it 2 eggs out of 2x4s as a 2x4 entry, and I did 1 out of poplar.
There you go.
Very good.
Thank you, Kate. That was
And what-
really a good demonstration. I was afraid to try it until I saw you do it.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah,
get
you
his name.
look
What was his
easy.
name?
Bob
Robert
Toludo.
Toludo.
Bob?
good. Do we
Oh,
have some?
yeah.
We working on that card?
Yes, sir. If it's Bob, we got it.
It was Robert, Eddie.
That's okay. Bob's fine.
Okay.
Bob's okay. You know, if you win an award, it doesn't matter. It's only award, it's what's into it.
Bobs are wonderful.
Thank you.
There.
And we'll put it on a website. It'll be on a front page or link page on a website showing you all the folks that belong to the 2x4 Club and what they have turned. And
Thank
it's
you.
really nice.
And to remind you, if you go to the website, find your name on the 2x4 Club, click on it, and you can print your own card.
Yes.
And carry in the wallet for identification forever.
All right. Hey, Trey,
Yeah. Okay,
you're sitting in a different position.
I just turned a different camera on. I turned the camera off my computer and put it on the other camera. I got a couple eggs I did. And my wife has started painting them. And this is what they're going to.
Ooh,
Oh, cool.
Oh,
How'd
wow.
you turn that rabbit on a lathe?
Look at that.
well, if he tells us he did that, I'm quitting.
That's ultimately what it's going. I'm gonna put it out there in front of my deck on the left-hand side in front of my shop on that new area I just put in.
Are those ostrich eggs?
No, they're eggs. They're Easter eggs.
They're not
They're
chicken
dinosaur-
eggs.
They're dinosaur eggs.
Laid by rabbits.
The rabbit eggs.
They're Easter eggs.
Easter bunny
the
eggs,
The
come
bunny
on.
painted them.
You're all wrong. It's art.
And the bunny, the bunny I airbrushed. I cut him out and then airbrushed him.
Those are Cadbury eggs.
How are you gonna get them eggs in Bob's birdhouse?
You open a zipper, Ronnie. Go to-
There you go, birdhouse with a zipper.
But yeah, that's my project for the we're working on this week. So
Right on.
Wow.
Thank you.
Those
Beautiful
are
work.
nice.
Jason, how you doing?
Jason, you're
How's it
live
going?
and direct.
Live?
All right. I got a little bud vase I did here a while back. Messed
I
with
like
some
the
of
color.
alcohol inks. So I couldn't tell you what kind of wood it is. I have no clue. Just branches laying around.
Is it board for one of those sleeves?
Do what?
Is it board for one of those sleeves?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
for one of the little. So I haven't quite figured out the coloring yet. And then I got a walnut bowl that I turned out of an old log. The hard part is it kept cracking on me. So it was kind of difficult.
I like the bead edge on it.
Right.
That's nice.
Looks like you got through it.
Yeah, there's a few spots that I can feel where the crack was, but I tried to do another one of these out of the same log actually. And I tried to do the CA finish, but I just could not get it to work on something this big. I've done it on pins, but
It'll come to you. It's a process.
Yeah.
yeah.
Those aren't,
Well,
those
and-
aren't cracks. Those are features.
That's right. Ronnie 100.
Yeah, it becomes the artistic feature. You can sell it for more now.
Eddie, you
There
have
we go.
anything before I go back to gallery?
No, let's go to gallery. I'm trying to find a piece. We have a turner of the week. and I'm having a little difficulty finding his card. I mean, we got the votes in. He had like 46 people call and suggest, but I'll find it. Go ahead, let's go
Okay,
back to
all right,
Go.
I'll carry on then. All right, Gordon, you're gonna be up next. Yeah, giving you time to wake up.
Wait, I just want to unmute. Evening, everybody. I inherited a 5-foot cedar pole recently, and I said, "What am I going to do?" So I made a little, anyway, a little cedar bowl. If you can see it or not, it's got some. Oh, there we go. Got some turquoise that had a nice smiley crack, so I put that in there, and it's nice little bowl. It's fun to make. I got to make a bunch more since I got a long pole of this stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty.
That's nice.
That is pretty.
A lot of good color to it.
Definitely.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I love
Beautiful.
cedar. That looks
That's
great.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Nice job.
Thank you.
All right, Matt, what you got for us?
I have, first of all, I have an egg. Let me see if I can see it. This was colored with Sharpies on the lathe. It's cherry. It's a little stumpy, but I'm working on it. You know, in the same way that you would color a top. So,
Right.
and then I have this piece. This is L. That's the bottom of it. And I did that to it.
Wow.
Very nice.
Wow.
Very
So
nice.
you can see that I left the pith in.
Right.
Worked slightly. That's
So it was
character.
a funky piece, and I'm like, what do I do with that? And then I was like, oh, I know. So I prefer the sort of Celtic shape. So that's,
Yeah, I like that. It
I
looks,
like it too.
Yeah.
it's sharp.
so
Very
and it's
nice.
pretty, and it's, you know, the hard part is, of course, is getting the proper sanding in under you know,
Right.
in the funky areas. But
It looks
they're a
like you
lot of
nailed
fun.
it.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Very nice.
No Band-Aids, Matt? You did all right.
What's that?
No Band-Aids?
No, it's
You're good.
just old scars, Eddie.
Hey, Dane, I think I found it. I gotta go back and get it, but I think I found it, bud.
Okay, let me go back to you.
All right. There it is, folks. That is our wood turner of the week. And this is a really interesting story. Rick Barnes has been sending us information for our website and our newsletter for a long time. And last week, his daughter got a copy of our newsletter. And she saw the little board below a picture he submitted that said, wood turner of the week. And they posted on Facebook because she was extremely proud of it. Rick called to apologize for the confusion. And I said, you know what, Rick, you earned it because of your participation, your gallery interest, your gallery entries, and your involvement in this club. And that's it. So if you do that, you can be wood turner of the week. And here it is, Rick Barnes. He's sitting on his trike. Rick, I'm also a little jealous that you got such a beautiful trike. But congratulations, sir. You did quite well. You've earned it. And it's one beautiful, some beautiful work you send in. Thank you.
Well done, Rick.
Congratulations.
Yay.
Congratulations.
All right, let's go to safety.
Okay.
Safety
Time for a
man,
second,
how are
Jeff.
you?
You're up, Jeff.
You're up, Jeff.
How do you wake up, Jeff?
I should have gave you a warning.
Wake up.
That's all right. Listen right here. Hey, good evening, everybody. Couple good things here. I know we talked about it last week. Just want to bring it up. Trey brought up about a leather apron. If you're doing power carving, you accidentally slip and hit your lap, you may save yourself a little bit of grief. That's a good idea. Buffing pads. I saw somebody up there was doing some buffing up on Facebook, and the little ropes and ties behind it got loose. I started whacking them, and it really chewed out the back of his hand really bad. I was like, wow, it's something you don't think about. All of a sudden, like that, it can happen. Unplug equipment when changing blades, cleaning, etc. See it too often out there. You go to hold something, you grab the switch, you turn it on. I had a friend did a really bad, something stupid on a vacuum, house vac. She was holding it, and she had her fingers pulling something out, and she broke like 3 fingers getting her finger in the blade. Be careful. I'm doing some shop cleanup out there. I got a big cabinet, an old medical cabinet with all my chucks and stuff. Very heavy. One day I was pulling a drawer out, another one started sliding, the thing tipped over. Luckily, there was a bunch of junk, it fell over, and I didn't get hurt. But I now have it chained up to the wall. I mean, you know, it's a couple 100 pounds of stuff in each drawer. So I got like 5 big strong blade chucks and others. And something to think about before you get hurt. You know, what'd your mother think? Everyone be safe. May the devil be with you guys and girls.
Right on. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks.
We have a demonstration lined up this evening. Doug is from Kentucky, is going to be doing a demonstration. This is one I really didn't know how to describe. He showed us some pieces in recent weeks that has got some decoration on the surface. He's done other bowls and platters and wide edge pieces that he's put surface decoration on. I have one on my lathe I'm working on, and I 3 times I've taken the decoration off because I think, you know what, I could do this, I can do that and such, and I have every tool in the world to do that with, apparently. But I'm playing with it, and then I saw Doug's demonstration, and I'm thinking I could have left it flat and did this process. Doug, are you with us this evening?
I'm here.
All right.
I'm here.
This is Doug Miller. He's one of our co-hosts. He's out of Kentucky, and it's time to see what he's got.
All right. Just for time's sake, I went ahead. I've just got a piece of plywood here tonight that I'm going to demonstrate on. But you can imagine this is the top of the bowl. You've already turned the bottom. You've got it ready. You reversed it. You've flattened off the top, or maybe even a soft dome on there. And then spray it black. Some places they'll use ebonizing lacquer, which is nothing more than a pigmented lacquer, usually acrylic based, but sometimes it is actually lacquer. What I've used is just black gloss spray paint. In fact, I've got the can right here, Rust-Oleum Universal gloss paint. It's got the real nice front trigger, so it's except when the nozzle clogs, and then it's not worth a hoot. I'm using Joe Sonia paints. They are iridescent paints. I've got a little starter kit just to experiment with, and they come in these little nice, pretty little tubes. What is that? 2/3 of an ounce. 6 colors come in the kit, so you get to experiment. For this process, it's really good to use a flow medium. They come from various companies. This is just one I picked up at one of our hobby shops. I've already squirted a few drops into 3 plastic tubs here. And so it's ready to go. And I'm just going to squirt a little bit of paint into each one of these. Probably 4 or 5 drops. It doesn't drop real well. But I want to show you something real interesting with this particular brand of iridescent paint. They are different colors. You will see the colors very vividly here in a minute. But when they come out of the tube, they all come out just like that. Can you see that? It's they all come out kind of a creamy white. And so you really need some way to keep it straight. A lot of people will put their paint tubes or bottles right behind their mixing cups. I've got my 3 spots labeled, plus I've got my sticks labeled. But I'm just going to mix that paint with that flow medium so that it's all kind of one together. It's not real critical. This is the paint is acrylic paint. You can thin it with water, but the point of the flow medium is so that the paint is the color of the paint is not thinned out. If you use water, your pigments are going to be thin, and so they become a little more pastel. Typically, this way they will stay just as vibrant as they were. I don't know the chemistry of the flow medium, but I just know it works. So, and if you find you don't have enough, you can always add just a touch more flow medium instead of going back and adding more paint. Paints are like everything else. They've gotten a little expensive the last several months. And so it pays to not waste. So I've got my colors mixed. Each one has its own stick. What I'm going to do, this is what I've got to spread it with is some yarn. I can't tell you what size yarn that is. It's pretty small. It's nothing special. I'm sure it is. It's not cotton or wool. It's probably an acrylic of some type. I'm just going to stick that down and into the paint, mix it around, make sure the string is covered well.
Is that a Hobby Lobby product?
What, the yarn?
Yeah.
Could be. Could
Okay.
be. It doesn't, wherever.
Joann's Fabrics.
Yeah, anywhere you can find it.
Dollar store.
First time I saw this process,
It looks
I
like a
thought,
special import out of Ireland.
the yarn. It could be. This is not. But anyway, first time I saw this process, I thought, well, that is so crazy. In fact, I didn't see the process. I saw the finished product. I thought there's no way I'll ever be able to do that. But then I saw how it's done. Wayne Clasper over in England does this quite a bit. He does not take credit for it. He saw somebody else do it in a flat medium and just started wondering, how can I do this myself on a turning? So I've mixed the paint, the yarn into the paint. Now I'm just pressing it down with my stick onto the wood just to make sure I get good contact. Now I'm just going to pull in a straight line. What you see.
String pulls are not new. They've been used in flat work for quite a while.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Very nice.
That people have started doing it on bowls, and in fact, we've got there's a group on YouTube that is doing a cross-channel challenge, and this month's theme for the challenge is water. Well, I was going to do another process, which is about as crazy, where it's a water droplet process on a bowl. And I saw somebody else do it. Well, I mentioned that, and Wayne said, don't do it on a bowl, do it on a vase. It'll work. So I'm probably going to do a secondary process, but none of these processes are new. Matt, you're exactly right. These processes, most of them have all been around for a long time. It's just we haven't taken advantage of some of the things and brought them over.
Merge it into our discipline, right?
Yeah, yeah.
There's a way to do these string pulls when your piece is rotating too. If you've got a lazy Susan or something, you can set up a couple strings and then you slowly rotate your piece while you use a stick or something to pick the strings up, and you get this really cool spiral pattern when the piece all pulls together. So there's a couple of ways to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's neat. I'm going to be trying that on some of my big bowls. That's nice.
It looks great on the side of a vase too.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. I bet.
String pull works really well on a vase.
Yep.
Now, Ronnie, you're going to love this. So there you go. Had this been sanded down real well, these would come out a good bit smoother. But there you have.
Now, the third one, you didn't press it out with a stick before you pulled it.
Right.
Yeah, right. At least not as much.
No, and it gave a lighter touch to it.
Right, and gives it a little more openness. But these colors will now develop as they dry. You already see purple, green, and gold, but over the next 45 minutes to an hour as these paints dry, especially the gold will come to life. The gold will as well. Well, and the purple will too. They come out of the tube creamy white, and then they make the colors reflecting off of the black. I wondered at one time, would it work out on other colors? And I was told any dark color is great. But then I saw somebody help me out. Chris is his first name. He's a blind wood turner over in England.
Fisher.
Yes, thank you. Chris Fisher. He did it on white, and it was amazing. It was more pastel, not quite as iridescent, but it does work. So
yeah, you can use any paint. Any acrylic paint works great.
Doug, I have a question for you.
I've used the metallics, so it works great.
Yeah, metallics work real good. What is it, Ronnie?
What about as it sits right now, how much of a hump do you have between the paint? Like when you go to finish it, and you run your hand across it, are you gonna feel a hump from the paint?
Yes.
Like texture, breeze texture.
Right now, yeah, you're
Yes.
going to feel it, but since I use the flow medium and thin the paint, it's not going to, it's going to be minimal.
It'll slightly
It's-
settle as it dries, right?
Right.
So it's kind of self-leveling.
Yes.
So-
Now this one, you can feel those,
Mhm.
but it's flatter than it looks. That looks pretty 3D, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Well-
love that water drop effect. That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty flat. And I've only got 4 coats of lacquer on it so far, have not knocked it back yet. So it's got about, I don't know, 15, 16 more coats of lacquer and a good bit of leveling before I'm done with that. But that's going to be my water entry.
Very cool.
Nice.
Doug, have you got enough room on that to do another one?
One of the things we've done to get a really good backdrop is to use like the black gesso or something to,
Yeah.
to put a decent coat on and then sand it with the 600, 800 or something to get a really good smooth finish before you
Yes.
do the string pull on it. And that's a great way to do the effect. And you could do
Absolutely.
what he just did. You could do it here. He just did, then put it back on the lathe and cut a bowl out of the middle and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice
Doug, have
work,
you got
Doug.
enough room on that board to do another one?
I'm sorry.
Have you got enough room on that board to be able to pull another one
Oh, sure.
just on the side?
Yeah.
If you put, take 2 of your colors, put your first string down the same way as you've done all 3 of them.
Citizen Martin Clarkson out of Great Britain join us because we are worldwide.
That's it. Put your string down exactly the same as you've done the others. Now take your second color. Take your next string, your next color, and lay it down just next to that one in between the gaps.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
And then take your third color if you really want to, start a bit higher and run that between the gaps. That's it. Don't worry too much about it. You're going to pull it and make a mess anyway.
Right, right, exactly.
That's it. Now put the 2 strings together. You can put a third one on if you want.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
do
going
the
for.
third one.
I'm going for my third string
You're
here.
gonna go the whole hog and make a complete mess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Might as
Why
well.
not?
And the fun thing is that you can, you
Start
do
out a
this,
bit
you don't
higher.
like it, you knock it off.
Yep. You can sand it right off, start again. Or turn
Right,
it
now
on.
gather the 3 strings and pull them slowly at the same time.
Yeah. You're talking about a mess, yeah.
Now show it to us.
Now show it to
Yeah. That's sweet.
Ooh.
That's
Yeah,
kind of
and
cool.
same thing as it dries, it's going to develop and it'll
Right.
be neat.
I've tried this technique. It is undoubtedly a lot easier on a flat plate. And the first thing I would say, Doug, to anybody who's going to try this is get yourself a bit of paper and have a go over and over again until you kind of get some type of technique before you start putting it on your woodwork.
Yes.
I have got one, and again, I tried to do the technique, and then I put it onto a piece. I cannot take credit for this because it is not timber. This was an old vase that I purchased from a boot sale, actually. It cost me £5, and it's pot. But I wanted to try the same technique on the vase.
Sure.
So that's what you end up with. And this is pulled with 2 strings, so you've got the yellow and you've got the white.
Excellent, yeah.
Nice work, Matt, Martin.
Like I say, I can't take compliments for the vase because it's not timber.
It
Good
really
stuff.
it's a simple process that really does come out giving you a great result.
What was the flow medium?
Flow medium, it's what it's called.
That's the name.
What brand?
This one is, this one happens to be Masters Touch Flow Medium. I got that at Michael's, I believe.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter what the flow medium is,
No,
as long
no.
as it is flow medium. And
Right.
as you were saying, I've done several of these before. What I notice is if the surface is as smooth as possible,
yes,
you're gonna get a lot smoother and realistic design.
Yeah.
And when I did mine, I actually added the flow medium about pretty close to 50-50. And that gave me, because with Joe Sonia, to be able to see through it, it has to be so diluted with flow medium, not with water. Otherwise, it can dry and it will still show as white or whitish. But if
Yes.
you add enough flow medium, it's gonna make it really see through it. And because you have it on a dark surface, it's gonna really show the really true color of that paint that you're doing.
Right, right. Yeah,
And-
normally, like the bowl that I showed everybody last week that Eddie got so crazy about, that had been sprayed, sanded at 320, sprayed again before I came back and did the Joe Sonia. So it was a smooth surface to begin with. Did the Joe Sonia thin just like we did tonight, and then quite a number of coats of lacquer just to build up and give it that depth. And even a week later, the colors are still developing to some extent. The red has just gotten redder, seems like every day, but never does get red.
Are you using the transparent or the iridescent, or which paints are you using?
The iridescent, Joe Sonia iridescent paints.
Can we get those names thrown into the chat today?
They're in the chat.
Way ahead of you.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I'm a little slow. I'm crazy over this again.
You can get a rattle can of high gloss black lacquer that goes on real smooth and with a real shiny coat. Works really good underneath those paints.
Yes. Yeah, the black lacquer works very well. Issue is it's about 3 times what this can of gloss black paint is.
Yes.
As far as
yes.
price. Quite expensive. So the
Yes,
paint,
it is black lacquer. You can
Say
dye
again?
them.
You can dye lacquer. You can dye your lacquer and make black lacquer.
yeah, if you're spraying your own, yes, yes.
Well, I have also done it where I use black paint, and if it wasn't glossy enough, I just put a coat of lacquer on that before I put the Joe Sonia paints.
That'll work.
You know, it worked for me. One thing I noticed is if it's really glossy and smooth, sometimes when you pull the Joe Sonia paint with the string, it wants to bead up. If it's really glossy, you have to watch it how glossy you make it, because it wants to bead up for you, because it's so smooth underneath.
You can see a couple of spots like right there and down in
Yes.
here. That's what it is there. It's on a glossy point, and
Yes.
the paint is kind of separated. There's a place right here in the purple as well. But
Exactly.
really, honestly, that adds to it.
Yes. So there's many ways how you can do it. I always learn by practicing. You know, I just do something, and how can I improve it in the next time?
Absolutely. You're exactly right.
Well, I'm going to jump in here with you and let you guys know that we will not accept any projects with this on it in the near future. Okay, so rules are made to be broken. Go for it. Go for it. Want to see what you do and how you do it. That's why Doug's with us tonight. How do you do it and what do you do? This is a fantastic demonstration. And you're right. I did go crazy over it, and I'm still crazy over it. I think it's some of the most outstanding art we see around here, and it can change the perspective and the visual of almost anything you turn. So if you have a piece and you turn it and it's ugly, make it pretty. You know, if the grain just won't pop or work, or I really think you may get away with, and Kim will jump in and dance on me if this is wrong. if you get away, you have a piece of cracked, like somebody had a walnut piece that had a crack. Fill the crack with epoxy, sand it back out, blacken it, and put this on the sides of it.
That's exactly what I do, Captain. When I have a piece of wood that, you know, doesn't say anything, there's no character in the wood, but you have the shape, but there is the grain is blanc, like, so that is when I start decorating. And you know, like that zipper vase that I showed you, it was just a plain piece of maple, and I said this is a good candidate to do some decoration on it. If you know, I don't want to decorate or paint something that has really nice, you know, grain or something like that, but plain piece of wood, this is a perfect for that, you know.
Well, we got Doug turned loose here.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Not enough paint in it, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
It's got all three
That's
colors
like
in it
visual MSMR or ASMR video. You can just do that on a bunch of pieces of wood and put it on YouTube. You get 1 million views.
Probably, yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's visually pleasing.
Get some shorts of that, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I've been trying to come up with some ideas for shorts, and that would do it.
Yeah, and folks, he did this for free. You saw a fantastic demonstration, far above most of the club demonstrations I've ever seen. It's for our club, and this is just one great piece of work. I really like it. Fantastic. And let me mention now that if you have a project like this or a technique like this, we want to see it. We really do. If you share this information, you saw what the eggs did. You saw what the crosses did. You know, the 2x4 projects. All this comes from you, our membership, to turn the stuff and make it work. And we'd like to see more and more of it. The 2x challenge never goes away. It's a great challenge for anybody who turns. If you think it's silly, turn one and find out it's not silly. It's a piece of work, and it's kind of a technique to get there. And we still have another challenge that will continue ongoing. And we're talking a Freedom Pen Challenge. That one's in effect right now. You turn a pen, and you can send us a photograph of the pen. Oh, somebody earlier, and please forgive me, I can't do names some days. I mean, I got Doug's name written down here and Dean's name written down here, and I got to write down Dane and all that folks because I don't do names very well. But he did a whole box of pens for Freedom Men's. What do you say, 29 out of 30 going to the troops? I really think he's keeping the other one. But if you turn Freedom Pens and you send them the First Sergeant Doug Rowe in Arizona, he will put that pen in the hands of a working troop who is working for minimum wage, protecting our life, our world, and our freedom. And that's how we give our thanks. So jump on board with Freedom Pens, if you would, please. I'll beat this drum to the day I die because I was one of those troops, and I really appreciated what people sent me, even if it's just a note from home. And we're giving them something that we make from home, from our shops. All right, Dan, we're going to go back to you. It's 26 minutes after the hour. Folks, you turn to worldwidewoodturners.org. That's our website. Our email address is worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. Nothing fancy, nothing special. It's just there for you. And I'm seeing all kinds of comments. So I think we have a bunch of folks up, right, Dane?
Yes, sir, we do. Up next, Mark, you need to wake up because I'm coming to you. Mark Soleil, the living legend.
Mark, you're quiet, real quiet to seem like you're muted.
You're muted, Mark. There you go.
Okay. All right. Am
right.
Am I on?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I'll bring this thing up. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Sure
That's
can.
just another one of my little bud vases, but I have the ball-to-ball construction on the bottom. A little bead for the tube on the top, and it's a little piece of big leaf maple, and it's got the one coat of the Parfix 3408 wiped on, wiped off, and buffed with Vonex.
Really pretty piece. I love the way the grain stands.
Nice, Mark.
Have you got Parfix all over your fingers, Mark?
Very nice.
No, No, there's a way not to get it on your fingers.
Right?
Oh, put it there.
No, what I do is I just fold a paper towel. I put about 8 folds on it. And then it doesn't wick through.
I did that.
Yep. And you don't have to push hard on when you're applying it.
No,
did.
you just want to flow it on and then have 5 or 6 paper towels there and wipe it completely off the surface.
Yep.
Right. And then let it dry and make sure the last thing you do, right, is always do a random orbit around with the paper towel so that you don't leave concentric streaks, right, if you have it spinning on a lathe.
Good tip. Thank you, Mark.
Just
Appreciate that, sir.
practice, that's all. You'll get it. All right, Johnny, what do you got for us?
Yes, Mr. Hughes. You're silenced.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me get this thing out.
Your thumb's in the way.
How about now? There's my little cross. I wanted to thank Dean. That was quite a demonstration he did last week, and I was pretty happy with it from my first one. And that's made from a piece of ligustrum, the shrub out in my backyard. And it's a pretty piece of figured wood at that.
Yeah,
but it certainly is. So, but that was my first cross. And let's see, I did another pepper grinder and a salt shaker. They're both made out of cherry there. That stool is not flat. And let's see if I can get it steady there. But they're both made out of cherry.
Very pretty.
Really nice.
Beautiful work. And
Very
then,
nice. I love that cross.
well, thank you.
The crosses that everybody's been showing tonight, really, really nice. Dean did a really
Nice
good
work,
job
bro.
inspiring everyone.
There's a little chip and dip bowl or veggie bowl, whatever you want to call it. And of course, it's made out of pine. So it's got the little stainless steel insert that goes inside of it. And but it is, and it's finished in lacquer. But that's,
And laser engraved.
yes, it is.
Show
That-
off.
I found the little stainless steel cups there at Walmart in the pet section. They're
Very good.
they're- yeah, I think they're like 99 cents there, and they're good quality stainless steel. So, but I made several of these chip and dip bowls, and they do quite well. So,
Hey, get your stainless before you cut the wood, folks.
yeah.
All right. Thank you,
Okay.
Johnny.
That's all I had there.
All right. And then up next, I believe, is someone new to the group, Bray's Wood Turning. How you
Oh,
doing, Bray?
Grace, you're muted until you unmute yourself, sir.
There you go.
Can you hear
Hi.
me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I am new to the wood turning, and Doug Miller, it's been a long time since I've seen you. I'd have a vase here. Let me see if I can get a little cedar vase.
Pull it back to your face, sir.
Pull it back
Closer
toward
to
you.
your face.
There you
Yes.
go. And I do have a YouTube channel, and I did this vase on the YouTube channel using Trent Bosch's hollowing system. And then when we first come on the night, everybody was talking about an urn. And
How do we get on these topics?
Hold it back to you.
Well, right in front of your face, sir.
there you go.
There you go.
That's nice.
I don't know if you can see it, but there's real plain, but there's a cabin in the back. And I build these urns, and they're customized for individual people with the sceneries on them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Outstanding.
And it's made out of holly, and the top was ebonized with leather dye.
Okay.
Big piece of holly.
Let me mention this to you and all the other turners with us tonight. If you have a YouTube channel, send the link for your channel to our website, worldwidewoodturners.org, with a contact thing. and our magnificently awesome webmaster, Dave, will put it on there. So if you go looking to say, hey, I want to see what Johnny Hughes is turning, I want to see what Doug Miller's turning, I want to see what Mark Slade's turning. If you have a website on YouTube, send it to us. We will put it out there because this is your club. And welcome, sir. Very nice to have you here tonight.
Or just put it in the chat and I'll pull it off the chat.
Okay, there you go.
Welcome, Brace.
Well,
Thank
nice
you.
having you.
See you again.
All right, who we got, Dean?
Let's see. We got my name spelled wrong. How you doing, Dean?
All right, you have to unmute yourself, gentlemen, ladies, if you come on, because we mute everybody for the background sound. So if you unmute yourself, go.
Okay, yes, this is a little cherry bowl that I did a video on it. And the thing I did with this one is I turned the entire outside, including the foot, finished it, and the foot is actually a little bead. So then I turned it around, put the bead in the chuck, hollowed it out, finished it, took it off the lathe. I've got a finished bowl. It's just a small little bowl out of cherry.
It's pretty.
Put walnut oil on it, and it's ready to go.
I like the bead detail. That's a nice touch.
Nice.
Could I see that bead a little
right.
closer up? Is there a way you could? Okay, cool. Thank you.
That's pretty.
So Dean, when you rechucked it on that bead, you didn't get any marks from the jaws?
Well, if you get the bead the right size,
yeah,
you won't get any marks at all. What you want to do is have about 1/8 of an inch gap between your jaws when you get it clamped down.
Okay.
I got that one just a little larger than I would normally want to. And even at that, you can't, without looking really close, you can't find where the chuck gripped it.
Okay, thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, Dean. Beautiful work. Beautiful work.
Thank you, sir.
Andy, how you doing?
And by the way, while I'm still on, I want to thank everybody. You know, it's an honor to give a demo for you guys and to share the little bit of knowledge I have, but then to see everybody get excited about it and turn so many crosses really makes me feel good, guys. Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome, sir. That's why we're here. Wood turners with wood turners. Who you got up next?
All right, we got Andy Phillips up next.
Good afternoon. I'd first like to say about Cade's demonstration last week. That was one fantastic. I'd pay money to go to a workshop that he gave.
Okay, here's the address. Send a whole box of it.
The only problem is he's in Canada. We can't cross the border. But anyway, I wasn't going to. I've never turned an egg, but our club has a project for our children's hospital here in Corpus Christi. We're donating eggs for the kids to decorate. So I turned.
I wanted to turn anything for anything other than YouTube. I'd have to quit doing YouTube.
I turned 14 eggs, and it took me about 2 days. It was fun. Even some of them looked like eggs when I finished. But I mean, his demonstration reminded me of sort of when I was in the Army. You know, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you, then I'm going to tell you, then I'm going to tell you what I told you. He told us what he was going to do. He did it, and then he told us what he did. That was a fantastic demonstration, and I want to say that to him. But anyway, here's a tip. We have a member of our church who does metal building erections. Metal panels for metal buildings come packed on dunnage. This is gum. I got an 8-foot piece. It turns beautifully. It smooths fantastically, and it was free. So if you got somebody you know who is a metal building erector, they just throw away their 4x4s, and they're either come in oak or gum, and it's free. That's fantastic.
Right.
But thanks again to Cade. I want him to know how much I appreciate that.
You're
Thank
quite,
you. Thank you.
I believe we'd say you're quite welcome. And by the way, folks, where do our demonstrations come? From only the best, and you can be one of them. And we've had some really great demonstrations in recent past, and I'm going to have some more in the future. In fact, I got a couple of open slots in the schedule right now. All you got to do is step up and say so. And you can put it in the chat if you like to, because I read the chat on Thursday mornings. I go through the whole thing to see just what you folks were talking about, and especially with Joseph and the acrylic paint and the items that we talked about a little while ago on the, what would we call it, Matt? The delayed string? Matt gave us a description of it. Matt?
All right, what exactly are you asking me, Eddie?
Didn't you title that demonstration that we just got tonight? Of what it was called?
String pull.
Well,
String pull.
String pull method.
Okay, I gotta write that down because look at that, I forgot it.
All right, up next we have Gary. Hi, Gary.
Hey, Gary.
Okay, there
See
I'm.
you got oxygen on, Gary.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. I'm a member of a club and we make cars that we give away free to kids out of 2x4s. You take a 6-inch long blank of a 2x4, mount it on centers, and then you turn, and you can come out with a car that looks like this. And this is all done except for the wheels. Now we buy the wheels because there's too many. We give away 800 cars, 1,000 cars at a time. And so but the cars are all turned on a lathe. Then you cut it in half. So you have basically two cars that look the same. You cut it in half, you put wheels on them, and that's how you make cars out of 2x4s on a lathe. Now this is just one example. This one's a little bit different, and you're only limited. You can see the markings on the 2x4 yet, but you're only limited by what your imagination can come up with. Postal trucks, ambulances, Datsuns, all kinds of cars. And like I say, the kids love these things. It's just small enough so that their paws fit around the car, and they have a blast with them.
I think he earned a card.
That's what we do with our 2x4s.
Looky there.
There you
Gary.
go. Thank you.
Look at that.
That's it.
Thank you, Gary. Very much appreciated, sir. That's what we're here for, folks. We're having fun with wood. And, you know, if you do something like this, every kid in this world would like to have one of them. And any toys or trinkets, last year or so, I turned a bunch of bracelets and just gave them to my wife's niece, who's in a church group. And they went nuts over these bracelets. All the little girls had the bracelets on. Now I'm told I have to downsize them because it kept falling off. But they're getting me a size. So that's it. All right, we're back on Gallery here tonight, 41 minutes after the hour. I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. You're on worldwidewoodturners.org. And I'm going to go to Canada for the next one.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Eddie. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Andy, and thanks, everyone, for making eggs. It was great to do that demonstration for you, and it's inspiring to see everybody take it upon themselves to practice by turning some eggs. So I have a couple pieces here I've been working on this week. One, you might have seen a video on Facebook of this bowl spinning on my lathe. I was just preparing. I'm doing a club demo on Thursday for a local club here in Ontario. So I did a trial run of my demonstration. Here, I'll take my halo away. There. And this is a thin wall, footed bowl with an undercut lip. The wall thickness is a 1/16 of an inch. And this I started sanding and finished sanding at 220.
That is that inside lip undercut. Go ahead, that
Yeah.
term right. Not that, on the inside. Other inside.
Yep,
There is,
it's undercut. It
it's
tapers
undercut.
down, and then the
Uh-huh.
lip underneath tapers up for a consistent wall thickness all the way down to the bottom of a 1/16 of an inch. This thing's light as a feather. I had a couple friends over, they picked it up and they're like, oh, wow. But that I was just doing a couple dress rehearsals yesterday and today.
Beautiful
This
work,
is a
Kate.
box I made. I'm also a member of the Detroit area woodturners. So the President's Challenge is to turn something with feet or legs on it. So I turned a small little box out of maple. And like Alfred said, some maple is quite plain Jane and it's quite boring to look at. So I decorated it a little bit. So here is my little box. Here's the legs on the bottom.
They're turned in with the piece.
Pardon?
That is turned in with the piece.
Yes, this is all one solid piece. The finial, the legs, the body, and the lid of the box are all from
That's
one
cool.
solid piece. So here you can see the legs here, and they are turned to a 1/8 of an inch undercut to the bottom. And then I carve and blend the sides. I turn the bead on top with a spindle detail gouge, and the finial was turned with a skew. Everything else was a Irish grind or an Ellsworth grind bowl gouge. And when I turned this piece, I thought it's kind of boring, plain Jane with just being maple, where it is this color. So I thought I'd color it. I wanted to do something with black. So at first I thought black and red. But then all of a sudden this song came into my head that was back in the day, and it was black and yellow. So I decided to go with black and yellow. The feet are painted. The finial and the bead here are all painted by hand.
Very nice, Kate. I like the design on the legs. Nice job.
Thank you.
That's really cute, Kate.
And I'm going to beat this horse to death. That is all out of one piece of lumber.
Yeah.
Great job, Cade.
Incredible workmanship. The only thing is when
Fantastic.
I try and
Beautiful
turn
piece.
something 1/8 of an inch, it's by accident that it gets down to 1/8 of an inch. That is amazing to get a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch consistent. That's beautiful.
Thank you very much. I have one more thing. Are there any golfers out there?
No.
No.
Well, with the
I'd
nice
rather be
weather
turning.
coming,
I'd rather be turning.
me too. But with the nice weather coming, there are some people who do golf and they're quite itching to get out there. But those who golf, we all have a friend we golf with who misses the ball a lot. So I had a friend contact me and he gave me a golf tee. So I measured all the dimensions of this golf tee exactly, and then I timed all those dimensions by 4 to give me a 4 times golf tee.
What do you got to put on that thing, a basketball?
He can't complain he misses the ball.
That is
Maybe
not-
dye that yellow.
That's for use for one of those new giant drivers.
Yeah, exactly. You need a baseball bat.
Drill it out and make it a pin.
Yeah, that'd be cool too. I thought about that. That'd be kind of handy. But then I thought Father's Day coming up, that might be a good joke gag for all those golfer dads.
You could put a wiffle ball on top of it.
Yeah, and we could even drill a hole in there, put a little flask type vial in there with a plug.
Or just have their name laser engraved on the side and give it as a gift to a golfer dad that would put it on his desk or something.
Well, you
I used
guys
to make,
just,
I used to make bottle stoppers with golf balls. They're quite popular here in Arizona.
well, you're causing a lot of smoke because next week we're gonna start seeing golf tees, which is fine, really. You know, you do that out of a piece of 2x4 and you don't have a lot of material. That's a little bit larger. Do one out of 2x4 and you're not using up a lot of material, but you're developing some skills that you don't realize you need to develop. And if you plane that piece with a skew, you make planing because of the skew, you're going to sharpen that skew technique you have to, you won't believe.
Yes.
Can I use a 2x2 instead, Eddie?
I
Yeah.
love this view. That was a 2x2 piece of ash.
All right, Terry, I think you're new.
No, Terry's
No,
not.
he's not new.
Unmute yourself, Terry. Terry, we're losing your image and you're still muted. Try again. One more time, Terry. Nope, you're muted, sir.
Got it. Okay. Well, I tried to make some eggs and I belong to the same club that Ed does. And there was a bit of confusion about the eggs. At first, I thought we were making them for the children to paint. And then I was told they weren't going to paint them. They didn't have the facilities. So I painted them and then I was told the children are going to paint. But anyway, I had my wife paint them. I'm going to try to flip the camera and it looked like it worked. I'm going to try to bring the eggs into focus. Might take the iPad off of the board. I try to hold it still. That's the eggs that I made and my wife painted some and I just put some polyurethane on it and buffed some of them out. And I don't know, there's a bunch of them. Then I decided that I would make a big one, not for them, kind of me. So that's my big one. I was going to make an independent
dragon egg.
Very nice.
I was going to make an independent stand for it, but I decided that I would just, that had the tent on it and they give me enough room to make the bottom of it. So if I can do this, I'm going to put this back in the thing. Try to get it around here so you can see it. I don't know that I can.
The box of eggs was like my mother's table in the 1950s. You know, the dining room table.
There. Now you can see the egg and
And it's a box.
It's a box.
threaded box.
Reddit.
With threads. Nice.
Very well done.
I thought about enhancing the seam with a couple of beads or wire burning them or something, and then I decided not to, and I just tried to match the grain up as good as I could. It matched up pretty well, going down and turning it, but that's pretty much what it looks like. So
That's a nice job.
I did that. This piece over here is it's a plywood segmented box that I did a while back. I think you can see it pretty good. It's just a lizard box. It came out some half-inch 6-layer plywood that I got scrapped from the cabinet shop. And I segmented it. I made quite a few of those. And they came out pretty good. Well, I've got this thing turned around. I can get it loose off of there. I'm in my kitchen. And I was just going to give you a quick view of my kitchen. And my whole house looks pretty much like this. That's the top of the refrigerator. It's a covered candy dish and a couple of other segmented plywood bowls. And then that's the top of the cabinets going around the kitchen.
There's a flat spot. You got turning on it.
Beautiful forms, beautiful shapes.
That bowl there is about 32 inches in diameter across the wings. It's a footed bowl. It's a piece of, I think it's a piece of maple. I'm not sure. Don't remember. It was a long time ago. Then I keep coming around Yeah, coming around, and that's
Oh, my
John
goodness.
Jordan style.
No.
This is
quick
John
question.
Jordan style turn base. One of the first ones I did. It's not very good. I've done quite a few of those, but they give you a start. I don't want to hog the whole meeting up to show you, but I thought you'd like to see those. And someday maybe do some more.
All right, we're waiting for you, sir. We'll be here. We'll looking
work.
for it.
We always got next week.
My whole
Thanks,
house looks
Patrick.
like that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Do you keep everything you make?
Yeah, I don't like to do the shows or anything and go to them. I sold a few.
You got a bunch.
I could go on like that for an hour. I could go around the house and the whole thing is like that.
Yep.
Just another minute, I'll walk in the living room real quick and show you the showcase. I'll just walk around a little bit. I'm not going to try to explain every piece. I'm just going to take a quick look at them. Those are some bowls. That table was picked up bundled up on the side of the road with some pieces missing, and I put it all together and I made the lamp. Kind of dark in this corner, but that bowl is a little over 4 feet tall. It's two pieces. The bowl itself is about 22 inches across and about 8 inches deep. And then the pedestal is it's a pretty good sized piece, and you can see a bunch of more pieces. Some Christmas ornaments. Are you bored yet?
Really nice work, Terry. Really nice.
Yeah, you got it going on, Terry.
Those are some covered candy dishes and a whole bunch of other things. I'm trying to get over to the display case. I'll go by it. Looks like you're getting a pretty good shot of everything. That's the top
That's quite the
shelf.
collection. Nice work.
The next shelf. Those are some more John Jordan style vases, that one, and then that one. There's a couple more down on the third shelf. I got better as I go. Little artwork and some Christmas bulbs. And I might have showed you the whiskey kegs before with the little spigot on it and everything. That also has threaded lids on them, and it's a hollow box with a threaded lid. And that's some more. And some more. And some more. And I don't know what I'm going to do with all these.
It's
That's
too
another-
bad
that
that you,
piece of-
yeah, it's too bad that you don't enjoy turning. I mean, obviously you don't enjoy it, so it's too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking. I haven't found a flat spot without a piece of turning on it yet.
Well, do you see those boxes there? They're all full.
And you're saying you've only been turning for a week or two, right?
Yeah, and that's it. I got a few of them I have to stack up. I don't have too much room. So.
Terry, that's quite a show. Very sure.
Yeah, it's quite a
Those
bit.
are the lamps that I made. I was doing some flat work. I have a pair of them. So I won't take up no more. I've already hogged enough time, but I thought you might like to take a quick tour.
No, appreciate it. That's good.
Gary,
Yeah,
this looks like all of our houses.
Yeah.
What's the rule of your house, Ronnie? If there's no flat spot, you can't turn it anymore?
No, I just stack.
That's
you,
good.
Terry.
Thanks.
That's
Thanks for the
awesome
show.
looking work. Where
All
we
right,
heading?
up next is Patrick from North Carolina.
Hey, Patrick, you're unmuted. Gotta go, sir. We're
All right.
ready. Hello?
Okay. I don't actually have the piece anymore. I gave it to one of my nieces for a birthday present. But that's a picture of a lidded box I did with the green pool.
There you go. Yeah.
Now, that is nice. Look at that, Doug.
Yeah. Very nice.
It's a lot of fun to do it.
I want to do a screen capture on that one. Okay.
Oh,
That's,
beauty.
That's it.
thank
All
you,
right,
sir.
thank you for
Appreciate it.
sharing.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
All right.
And if you folks don't know this or understand it, almost all computers will allow you to do a screen capture. On my Apple computer, it's Shift Command +3 all at one time, and it saves it to my screen capture folder. And then if I was like, man, I wonder what the thing looked like. I got it. And also, we got Billy here. Isn't that him? Billy Burt's here.
Yay, Billy.
Hey, everybody. This is just a tip, basically, for those of you that like turning bottle stoppers. This particular bottle stopper was a piece of dyed and stabilized OSB that somebody sent me once upon a time. But what I like to do is, so that you don't get a funny looking junction here, I like to take a Forstner bit that's just bigger than this diameter and drill a little bit of a recess and then thread it, then screw it onto the mandrel, which is also this big, by the way. So you just screw that onto the mandrel and it'll seat right in there. And then that will allow you to have a more flush looking bottle stopper. Just a quick tip that I learned from, I believe, the late great Russ Fairfield many years ago. So
We may have to ask the jury if
That's a
that's
good
legal
tip.
or cheating. I think that might be cheating, Billy,
How's that cheating?
because it looks easy and good.
I
And guess
like
how much
it.
special equipment you need to buy? None.
No, none. If you got Forstner bits, right? Even
Yeah.
a spade bit would work if that's all you had.
Yeah, I believe you're right. That does look like a Russ Fairfield thing.
Thank you, Billy. Really good to see you up and around again. All right,
Thanks.
who do we have up next, Dean?
We have Dave J. in Michigan.
You're up, sir. Yes, that's you. Nothing?
No?
Really?
Okay.
You talk about Dave J. in Minnesota?
Could be.
Okay, well, first of all, we're
Not
new
that-
to turning.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Give us 1 second. We got to find you. I think we have you now.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'd just like to say is that I was talking to Mark Soleil, and bought some product from him, and he turned me on to this channel here. And it's the best thing we ever come into, and learning so much. We're new to turning. But the one thing we've been doing is, first of all, I think it was Kate Bulger and the eggs. So made a goose egg here out of redwood.
Very
And
nice.
then a couple chicken eggs. One's made out of apple tree out of our backyard, and the other one is out of a spalted cottonwood, and it's actually really beautiful. And but the other thing is that I started turning was in Minnesota. We have a lot of mosquitoes, and we're sitting on our patios. It's some nasty flies in the summer, and so what I make is they're called fly swishes, and this one is made out of spalted cottonwood, out of the cottonwood tree. I don't know if you can see it or not, in our backyard. A limb came down, and I use horsehair, and I source that out. I used to actually had horses and was cutting them off the horse's tail. And I finally started sourcing the horsehair out of Texas for this, but they work real well for keeping the flies away if you're sitting on the patio. So that was spalted cottonwood. This one here is walnuts out of a tree that I cut down, and I used some dyed colored horsehair, and then bling it out a little bit with some deer skin. And this one here actually was made out of Mexican bocote and olive wood laminated together. And they're not only do I kind of like them, but just from the looks of them, but they're very practical in this country up here. Any place you get mosquitoes and flies, and so again, new to turning, learning a lot about the skew, especially these fly switches basically turned out with the skew. And I thought I had that down until I started turning eggs. And then the skew started talking back to me a little bit on all these curves. So if nothing else, I'm still turning eggs to the fact of trying to learn better technique with the skew.
It's a skill builder, Dave, just a skill builder, and it really works.
It is. It is. And as far as finishes, I've done everything from Parfix 3408 on some of these eggs. I've done a regular CA, and then off of here, I learned how to make OB shine juice, and that's what I put on some of the other eggs too. So I just have to, throw it out to everybody on here. This is the best learning experience and the best source of information for turners that my wife and I could even think about. And so I just want to thank everybody for all the sharing. And the fact is that it keeps us out of trouble by staying in the wood shop.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
First of all, do you have the Parfix 3408 all over your fingers?
I was watching that earlier tonight, and yes, the answer to that is yes.
Thank you.
The longer answer is that Mark makes it sound so easy how it works, and I'm not going to give up on it, and I'm getting better. It's a technique that I have not quite accomplished yet.
Right. Now, I want to know what the sizes are on your fly switches there.
The sizes on the fly switches, I actually start with a blank somewhere around 12 to 12 and a half inches, and I end up with about the same thing, about a 12, anywhere from 11 and a half to 12 inch as far as the spindle goes.
Yes.
And the flies or the horsehair is somewhere between 12 and 13 inches. I started, with making at 12 inches, I started just making the ends of them flat. So my wife said, well, why don't you start with something longer? So I started with about 14 and a half inches, and then I started and make it easier to actually part it off and do a little more work on the top part.
Right.
And it doesn't really affect the the effectiveness of it at all. So I like it. So now I'm taking my blanks, whether it's from limbs out in the yard or whether I have a square blank, I'll try to start with about 14 inches, and I end up somewhere between 12 and a half to 13 and a half inches. And
Those
then
are nice. I like that one right there.
I try to standardize on the thickness of the shafts here, but that's going to depend on the wood too. The softer woods, it can't go quite as thin, and some of the harder woods, I can make them a little more sleek, and I like that better. But you just got to take what the wood gives you in that regard.
Yeah. Can you make it larger? Because I understand Kim's got some mosquitoes in there about the size of pterodactyls.
Yes, they're huge. They don't want to just drink your blood. They want to eat your soul.
How do you attach a horsehair?
In Florida, I can make one out of 2x4s about 4 foot long for you.
Yeah, we need that and probably a good bird shot or something.
Hey, Dave.
Yes.
How do you
want to
attach
thank
though?
you for what you just said, that you're new to turning and you've just joined us. There's nothing better than hearing a newcomer come on and say they are picking up hints, tips, and tricks from us. So we want to thank you for joining us as much as you enjoy the program. So thanks.
Thank you, Ronnie. I actually, we've been watching this for a few weeks here, and it's even my wife Trish. She does a little turning, and she says, "Oh, Wednesday night we got to make sure we get on for the worldwide turners." And I said, "You're absolutely right." So thank you.
Because we encourage everybody to come forth and show us your turning, because everybody has a different spin on what they're doing, and we enjoy everybody's work. So
thank you.
And we learned from every single one of them. I saw a comment a minute ago on our chat for you. How do you attach the horsehair to the piece?
Hey, the horsehair, what I end up doing is I buy that by weight is ounce, and that makes it work well for this. But the hole that's drilled in the end is a 1/2 inch. And then what I do is that this is the hand labor, is that I take the horsehair and I end up with a glue, epoxy, Gorilla Glue, whatever, and I end up with a thread. It's a fly tying thread for like fishing for flies, fly tying thread, and I whip that down and I get that probably about 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch wound tight, glue all the way through it. And so then I hang those up and I trim those up, and so they're ready to go. So then when I get the blank turned, I drill it before I turn it, and then I use the
Live center.
yes, and it's 60° or something like that on it.
Right.
I use that in there, and so then I get it all turned. So then I end up taking the finished up horsehair, and I put the glue inside the drilled out, and I put that in there, and basically I hang this up on the bench and with a clamp up here, and just let it sit up overnight, and I mean, it'll be there forever.
Yep.
Thank you.
Very
Oh,
nice.
Great technique. Great technique, sir. Thank
Where
you.
do you source where do you get the horsehair?
Again, like I said before, I used to take it off my own horses, but what I'm doing now is that I'm sourcing it out of Crazy Crow Trading Post out of the suburb of Dallas, Fort Worth. They sell everything from rendezvous and Native American craft work, everything, everything from Civil War, you name it, you can find it on there. And they source, and I buy my horsehair from them.
Can you put that in the chat?
It's Crazy Crow Trading Post out of Texas.
Would you please put that in our chat tonight?
I will do that.
Thank you.
That'll
So
work.
much.
Thank you.
That's
Welcome.
good. All right,
Thank
before
you.
we go to more gallery, folks, can we skip back?
Hello, Dave.
All right, we'll go to Dave after Dave. I have something, Dane.
Okay, Eddie.
Dave?
Here we go. I have a bud vase that I turned. It's got the tube, and I did a burn ring on the top, at the neck, and around the base.
Very nice.
I don't know what kind of wood it is, but it kind of looks like cherry, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Sure.
And I have 2 more pieces I wanted to show off. This is a piece of wood I found in the yard, and it's just a pot. And this is a piece I really like. This is a piece of, my buddy said it was a small plum tree. And when I turned it, it just turned dead white. It was white all around. I sprayed it with water. You can hardly see the grain. So I turned it, and I have some cedar in there, and then a perforated lid my wife gave me. But while it was still on the lathe, I did some pyrography on the white. And of course, the grain burns at different rates. You see a crack there. I filled that with black CA.
Did you do
I really like
with the torch, Dave? Did you do that with a torch?
Yeah, I did it with one of those little handheld torches, not a big one. It takes the butane. It's like a hobby.
Gives a lot of great accent to it. It really does.
So I really enjoyed working on this piece, and it turned out well.
Yeah,
That's all I
looks
have
nice.
tonight. Thank you.
Yeah. Very
Thank
nice.
you. All right, Eddie, let's go back to you.
All right, I'm popping up here to get to the worksheet because it's about 12 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock Central Time. And this weekend is going to be a special celebration. It's actually on Saturday evening or early Sunday morning. and it's the Doug Rowe time change. Our first sergeant in charge of our Freedom Pen project and great demonstrator and a friend of this program, really despises Central or daylight time. And this weekend, we're going to change it just for Doug. So that's coming up this weekend. Now, we do not have a demonstration lined up for next week. We're working on it, but we never fail to have a great demonstration from you turners. This is your program. But I have to explain that we have a website, and that's on www.worldwidewoodturners.org. We do have YouTube channels under 3 or 4 different names. And if you go to our website, you'll get a link to all of them. We also put things on several Facebook pages, including our monthly newsletter, which sometimes runs a little bit more than a month or a little bit less than a month. We have this program and a whole lot more, and this is all for you. All we ask is you bring your own coffee and donuts, because Brenda will not share her coffee. It's just not fair to us. We do gallery each week, and if you want to show a piece on gallery, you have to put it in chat, and then Dane will run through the chat list, and he will pick it right in order, pick the next turner up, and when we come to you on chat, you may be muted, so you may have to unmute yourself. We mute everybody so that we don't have this background sound in there all the time. And remind you again, we have a special offer on a CAD file for making your own index wheel. It's free. It's on our website. And I was called the other day and told by somebody we can't do that. We did. So it's there. We will share tips, tricks, and all these ideas that you have, that you use. You can send us a photograph, a sketch. A little while ago, we talked about that, the horsehair whip. And we'll get a sketch on that and get some details on that. So you'll be able to go to our website, download it, and when you go out and shop, it's a brain starter. Don't copy it. This work is never good copied. Put your own brain to work on it. We cover safety information each week. Jeff Schell tells us about it, reminds us that safety can be and has to be number one. I mean, it's really hard to turn if you drop a couple of fingers or an eyeball or something. So let's be safe when we're out there. And our website is managed by David. David Rhodes does it. He does an awesome job on our website. We're as concise as we can be. We share as much information as any other website. I got to say this, in the world of wood turning, because we get it all done by volunteers. Did I mention that? We have about 10, 12 co-hosts on right now. Some weeks the machine won't let me add any more. And who are they? They're members who want to be involved, want to get out there and show things, show programs and all that. And you can be there. There's no limitations, no restrictions, no membership fee, no charges, no credit card, no hats, no notebooks, none of that. This is all by sharing information with you, the wood turner. On behalf of everybody at Worldwide Wood Turners, I have to say thank you. Thank you for making what we wanted to happen over a year and a half ago come to life. You made it happen. Thank you so much. We're going to go back to gallery right now. Dane's with us. And what do you have up, sir?
Well, we're going to see if we're going to have another birdhouse for tonight.
Oh, it can't be that guy. Him again?
Well, I got a little story behind this.
Uh-oh.
My wife was having a ladies' luncheon, and I was inspired by Cade the way he was using the skew last time, and I was inspired by Dave with his crosses. So I made 7 little crosses out of 2x4.
Nice.
And I gave 6 of them away, and my wife kept 1. But that's for my 2x4 club thing.
That is really nice.
Very nice.
Incorporate a couple of our projects all in one, right?
Yeah. Double trouble here.
Double trouble.
And she was surprised because she didn't know I was making them. And then I got a bowl that I made with the Josiah paints on the rim, piece of ambrosia maple that I thought turned out nice.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks really nice. At
Hey,
first, I
Bob.
thought it was a coffee mixed with like
Bob.
an iridescent maple powder.
We need to see a birdhouse next week. with a cross on it, so the birds will have a church to go to.
I could.
And legs, and carved legs.
I put a
carved
cross on the
legs.
top of it.
Yeah.
Carved
I got
legs.
a
You can do
natural
it.
edge piece of
And a
oak.
zipper on the door.
There you go. So you could zip up before you went in. Got
That's some pretty wood.
natural edge
Where
piece
else
of
are there,
oak
Bob?
that I did.
Wow, that's beauty. Very
Yeah.
nice.
That's about
Hang the
3
cards up.
inches across.
With all the comments about the birdhouse, I was thinking it could be
The
a
what?
birdhouse church. With a little cross on top.
And believe it or not, I made my first natural edge birdhouse. And had a
That's
friend of
pretty.
mine come
I could
over.
have sworn you've made another one of those. I could have sworn I saw that.
Had a friend of mine come over. I'm teaching, getting started, and so we made one. We each made one of these, and I told him, I said, well, when your wife sees that, she's going to make 20 of them for your friends. And he said, well, I know where I can buy them. He said, there's too many steps. And this is what I made out of a piece of Babingo burl and ambrosia maple and holly. And the ambrosia maple was from a friend of mine that cut off a corner for a bow blank. And so I took his scraps.
Nice, nice. Dane, you get the
I don't
cards
want to
up.
disappoint y'all, not have a birdhouse.
All right.
You never disappoint us. Let's check with Dane. Dane, look at that.
Here, Bob. Look at there.
All right. I'll have to print that out.
Andy, I got a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You're talking about Doug and not liking time changes? Doesn't he
Doug
live,
doesn't. No, he doesn't.
doesn't he live in Arizona?
Yeah, they don't change.
We don't
Yeah, there's
change
no
your
change
time.
there. So he don't have anything to worry about.
No,
he
but
does
no,
gotta
here's the
adjust.
problem. Here's the problem with us in Arizona is y'all change your times, and then we got to figure out, is it 2 hours or 3 hours now, or 1 hour or 2 hours, depending upon where you're at.
Yeah, that's the problem. I used to live in Arizona, and that's why I hated time change. Because
Yep.
twice a year, everybody else is changing their times. And now you got to remember, well, how do I
Right.
relate with this one?
And remember, Doug Rhodes in the business of protecting our freedom all over the world. So he's got to
Anytime.
figure out in England is it such and such with, so that's why he hates it.
Yep.
For sure.
We're back to gallery.
All
It's
right.
20 after the hour. Hi, Dave, what you got?
It's a
Steven,
pain.
you're up,
I wish
buddy.
they'd just leave it alone.
Dane, all right,
Steven,
who we
you're
have up? Looks like Steven.
Hi, folks. How you doing? First of
Good.
all, I want to thank you all for all the information you've given me over the last year that I've been watching this Zoom. I keep saying I'm a beginner, and I really am. I tried doing a little plate. This is red oak, and I had it almost done, and I had it on a Longworth truck to take the tenon off the back, and it blew up on me. As you can see, there's a crack here. I glued it back together just so I could show it to here. Here's a
It's
crack.
just a
right.
character feature. That's all, a character feature.
Yeah, nobody
Well,
would know. Nobody knows it but you.
Part of safety, I have my face mask on. One of these halves hit me right in the face. Not that it would do any damage, but the face mask deflected it. The other one hit the light on top of the lathe, and the light fell off and got caught up in the lathe, and I think it burned out my motor on my lathe. So that was a costly accident. And I'm really not sure.
Sounds like you could sell the video of that.
I had the tail stock, against it here, but I don't know why it came off. I had eight stoppers around it, tightened down.
How fast were you going?
And that's the slowest my lathe goes is 500 RPMs.
That should be adequate.
It should be fine.
Yeah, I thought maybe slower, maybe because it's oak and it was hard It was hard
Is
cutting.
it red oak?
Red oak, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think red oak is prone to having those cracks happen
Oh, really?
internally that you don't see, and then that's probably what happened.
Maybe if the
I will say
tailstock was in there, if the tailstock was in there and had too much pressure, it may have busted the bolt, may have just pushed right into the bolt and broken it apart, because you said it exploded, right?
It
It didn't
did.
just come off. So maybe the tailstock was too tight and it cracked it right down the middle.
Oh, I never thought of that.
That's true. I've
I
had
never
that
thought of
when
that.
Steven,
I've
if
had
it
that
makes you
happen.
feel any
When I
better-
put the tailstock on, should I have a large surface on here or just a point?
I
I like the soft touch. Personally, I like the soft touch.
Which is a bigger surface, right?
Yes, sir. You make it to fit the one you want.
I use the original rubber Chucky, a cone, which is a poly, it's a cone and a polystyrene plastic that touches the piece. But there's a live center that has a disc instead of a point. That gives you a little bit more surface. It's not very big, but it gives you a better purchase and it doesn't dig a hole in your piece. So
And
that's
you
a
can
really
make,
good option.
you can make one of those to fit your length.
Yep.
Fit your tailstock. Even if it's a cup, you're not doing anything more than preventing lateral movement out away from it.
Right.
It's a vibration dampener and damper. And if you have it out of wood or rubber Chucky or one of those other things, if you make contact with your tool, you don't hurt your tool. And we all know
Yes.
what turn is. If there's a way to hurt a tool, we know how to hurt a tool.
Yeah, I just bought a one-way live center, and I got to get a die for a 3/4 10 tap, I guess.
Ace Hardware stores. They can order it if you don't have it in stock.
Yep. You can get them on Amazon too.
Steven,
One
if
other
it
thing,
makes you
one
feel
other
any
thing,
better, if it makes you feel any better about that piece blowing up, we're gonna add you to Brenda's club.
I knew that was coming. I just knew it. He couldn't resist. He really is.
Yep, I knew that was coming.
Yeah. But if you do, you gotta add some Band-Aids to the mix.
I don't mind joining Brenda, that's for sure. And the second question I have, folks, the second question I have is, my daughter asked me to turn a goblet for her, and I have not done any hollow forms. So I was, and the goblet is not that deep, but I was using a scraper to turn the goblet, and I did something wrong. I don't know what I did, but it just broke it, snapped right off on me. It really scared the hell out of me because I didn't know where it went.
Did you have it flat on the tool rest or angled upwards into the bowl?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I just had it straight in. But
yeah, you should have it angled down. So the tool
Angled
rest
down?
above center, tool rest above center. So the tool is angled down. The tip of the scraper is cutting at center, but your handle is in a trailing mode. So if you get a catch, it's just a quick relief, if you know what I mean. I'm trying to.
So I
wanna be a
think I
little
had my
above
tool
center.
rest at center. So I have it above center?
Yeah,
Yes.
you want to have it above
And
center.
then you
I
tilt your
can
skew,
show you quick what
the
I'm talking
scraper
about
down.
here. So you see here, this would be my tool rest, and you might have had it flat on the tool rest. So with that angle that it's presented at, it's quite aggressive. I've seen people try using it upwards and it breaks their tool rest and the tool. So just luckily flat, it just broke your tool, but you should use it. So my finger here is the tool rest.
Right.
It's angled downwards and the tip of the cutter head here is cutting at that center point. So you can see my handle is in a trailing mode.
Right.
So if I were to get a catch, it would just be a quick little and it relieves itself. But if this tool is flat or angled upward, with the angle of that cutter on a scraper, that buries itself in the wood, giving you a violent catch, making the wood bird wood fly through the air or breaking your scraper.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I cut at center, if I cut below center, is that dangerous also?
Dangerous.
Yeah, dangerous, because it can whip back around and up because the force of the lathe is coming down and around. So the force is now going away from you, and the tool can now catch and go like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
So,
So
you want to be cutting at center.
so keep it right on the center line then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So here, if I have, I'm right at my lathe here, I'll just grab my camera and I can show you.
Hey, Stephen, I have a YouTube video on goblet turning, and I put that in the chat.
There it is.
Okay,
there.
thanks.
You can see here, I'm cutting at the very center of that pin or that divot.
Right.
And you can see my tool rest is above center, so my handle is in a trailing mode. So if it catches, it's a quick, it doesn't have that angle to bury the tip of that scraper in the wood, which will give you that violent catch.
It'll kick it away rather than in.
And you can cut all the way to the sidewalls of the form.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're always going to be cutting in the 9 to 12 o'clock quadrant.
So like right here, you can see I'm cutting at center.
Right.
My tool's in a trailing mode, and I
Right.
can move out to the rim, or I can move from rim to bottom of the bowl. But coming out to this rim all depends on your wall thickness. Like if I did that thin walled bowl where it's a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch, I would never come back out to that wall because it would flex, bounce back, hit a scraper and blow up on me. But if you have a good, consistent, thick enough wall to support that, you can shear scrape up the side of that wall. But shear scraping is a very light cut, and the tool is angled slightly like a skew as you come up the side of that bowl.
Oh,
And
okay.
flat across the bottom. You can go flat. You can also angle it slightly and shear across the bottom, but you definitely want to shear up a sidewall if you're ever going to come up that sidewall. But
Now, if
I
I-
would
if I-
have a wall thickness of more than 3/8 of an inch, depending how deep that bowl is, and then that wood won't flex on you. But any less than 3/8 of an inch, and you go deeper than 2 inches, that is now flexing on you, especially on a scraper, because you have more contact surface area dragging across the wood. It's not cutting, it's dragging and scraping across the wood.
Okay.
Great technique. Thank you.
So if I, with the carbide cutter, you keep that level, but with a scraper tool, you angle it down, right?
Yes, you can
carbide
also
tool?
use carbides angled down too, like a scraper. And as you come up with that carbide, you can shear scrape too.
Oh, wait, don't tell the wood it's carbide. It gets upset, but it cuts just like any other blade. And it's all what Kate's telling you is tool presentation is so much more important than the tool. And if you got a really thin wall, Kate, no thin wall piece you did, you stepped down in stages. You turned the 16th at the top down about a 1/4 inch, then you stepped in and turned it again and turned it again and turned it again, so that you didn't go back to that super thin flapping piece because it started moving the second you cut it.
Yes, I could almost take my hands and go like this and it will flex on me, but I don't want to break that undercut rim. So
I
imagine
didn't realize that about the wood. I didn't realize it flexed that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can. Yeah. Even at an 1/8 of an inch, like this bowl is an 1/8 of an inch. Even though it's small and it's very shallow, once I'm past that 1st inch, I wouldn't think of coming back up that side to that 1st inch. Once I'm into that 2nd inch cut.
That piece went egg shaped.
Yeah.
Yeah, similar, almost.
Yeah, I mean, it did, look, it stretched out. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, I'm throwing this out to the advisory team. Wood turners, I'm looking for a demonstration on how to do step downs on taking the inside of a bowl down. I'm looking for a demonstrator that can show us how to do step downs. If you don't understand it, then you can't teach it. But it's how to save a piece of wood. It's not just a super thin one. If you turn, goodness gracious, if you turn fruit wood, you better know, because of all the woods that move and turn, fruit wood does the best. Hey, I have a demonstration lined up. I believe he can do it next week if we keep him awake. Mark Slay says next week he will do a tendonless joinery demonstration for us. Tendonless joinery. And it's what Mark Soleil. He is what anybody would call a professional wood turner, but he's a great friend of the program, and he can explain things like you won't believe. And he's a great teacher. He'll probably show you some slicing techniques. So that's next week on Worldwide Wood Turners, 30 minutes after the hour. I'm Captain Eddie Castle in Warren, Ontario with Cade. Right now, we'll go back to Dane and see if we got.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
This is Dallas. I'm in Houston, Texas with my wife. She's doing cancer treatments right now. And there's trees that grows up and down the road here that I just love to get a piece of wood out of one of them trees. It reminds me of sycamore from my home stomp ground, but I don't think it's a sycamore tree. If there's anybody from Texas still online here, can they please tell me what kind of tree it is? It's multicolored bark, but it's really smooth.
What's the leaf look like?
They're all barren. There's no leaf.
Sir, what's your name?
My name is Dallas.
Dallas. All right, let me look. Dallas's iPhone?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, got you spotlighted.
Anyway, I'm up here in Houston with my wife. She's doing cancer treatments. And up and down the road, there's these trees, and they grow out of a single stalk, but they come up with multiple limbs. And they're got multiple colors on them, but they're slick barked. And they're
Crepe
just
myrtle.
No.
You think it's what?
Could you be talking about crepe myrtle?
You got a picture of it?
Looks like that.
I
Yeah.
do not. I can get one, but I'll be maybe back. I'm hoping being back in Missouri come next Wednesday.
Well, take a picture of it between now and then, grab a piece of wood, and then show us what it looks like next week. It could be London plane, which is similar to sycamore, and it's normally planted in city centers.
Yeah, that's what this one looks like. It's planted everywhere. It's a beautiful piece of wood. Looks like it's twisted. It grows in a twist, kind of. It would be a beautiful bowl. And if I could find a piece of wood, I would take it home with me. But
does it flower?
It has a small, what I've seen, none of them are leafed out at this time where I'm at. And it has a small black seed pod that's stuck all over it that spreads out like I don't know, like a flower seed.
That sounds like crepe myrtle. Crepe myrtle's big in Texas. I live in Victoria, Texas, and there's a lot of crepe myrtle around. And the bark, it's a slick bark, but it'll peel off in ribbons at a certain time of the year and displays a lot more colors as it peels off.
That's what it looks like. These are all slick, but it has all multiple colors, and each tree has a darker, lighter, dark, different color shades to them.
I bet you're talking about a crepe myrtle because they're planted all over Houston. I'm in League City, just south of Houston, and they're planted everywhere around the city.
Has anybody ever turned any of that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Keep it wet.
I'd love to get a piece of that.
Keep it wet.
I'd get 2 or 3 pieces if you could.
Dry. It'll crack bad.
Yeah.
Like it could be firewood because it'll split itself.
I see.
I've got a beautiful piece up there wrapped in a wet towel.
Crepe myrtle's good on the side of the road because if you hit it with a truck or something, it'll just knock it up instead of stop you.
I see. So that's how I get a piece of it, just knock it over?
The root system is light enough that it won't stop your vehicle instantaneously.
I see.
So it's
You
very
know what? You come to my house, you can have all of the ones out of my front yard.
Hey, Dallas, are you able to just open up another window on your computer right now, do a Google image of the crepe myrtle and see if it looks like what they're telling you?
Yeah, that's just what I was
I'm
gonna
not sure.
suggest too. That's just what I was gonna suggest.
I'll look it up once I get offline here. I'm not multitasking here.
You can, on your cell phone, on a cell phone, you can download an app called Picture This. And you take a picture of any tree or any kind of foliage, and it'll immediately, within a couple seconds, tell you what it is.
Okay. From where I'm at in Missouri, I can tell you about every tree that's growing around me or whatever. But down here, I don't know what these trees are.
I was gonna say, if it's lining a road up here in Michigan, we'd say Osage, but that ain't it.
I can get my hand on a bunch of Osage orange.
Oh, wow. What you do a deal?
People will
I mean,
trade you
they're
crepe
everywhere.
myrtle for Osage.
Yeah, I'll trade you. I got lots of maple, maple burl, walnut.
I've got laying in my boneyard. I've got sassafras. I've got bodock. I've got but bodock and the Ancient Orange is the same thing. Some people call it bodock. Some people call it Osage orange. And, you know, I've got pieces of sycamore. I've got cherry. I've got sassafras. I've got persimmon. I got big pieces of persimmon. It makes a pretty bow. It has all kinds of black spots and things in it. It makes a real pretty bow.
Sure does.
It's the only true ebony in North America.
I see.
Yeah.
I know I've got several logs of it. I need to get turning or I'll lose all of it.
Well, get out there, sir. Let your wife get well. I hope she does. And you can always join us. We're here every Wednesday evening, just like this. And we're talking wood turning. And isn't it amazing the things we can share here tonight? Dane, do we have anybody else up for gallery tonight?
Yes, we do. We have John in New Jersey.
John.
You're up, buddy.
I just wanted to show you some fishing lures that I make. I don't know if you can see them.
Oh, we got it. Great. Pull it back to your face. There you go.
This is one. Here's another. This is kind of offset turn. Here's another. So they're all through wired. Use them for striped bass up here in New Jersey. And they sell a lot of these, 30, 40 bucks a piece, but I make them for a couple of dollars.
Well, those top water lures?
Some are. For the top water lures, I use red cedar. I just use ballisters, deck ballisters. And for the ones that sink, I use Alaskan yellow cedar. They're also deck ballisters. But it's a very dense, it's a lot more dense than the red cedar. And you can get all the parts at NewJerseyTackle.com. They sell the eyes, they sell the lips on the front of the plug. They sell all the parts you need.
Must have some mighty big bass up there.
Well, some are 30, 40 pounds.
Yeah.
They're pretty big.
Well, John, if you would, put that information where you get the parts in our chat tonight.
Sure.
That's what our chat is all about, folks. And I remind you that when you sign off tonight, before you sign off, go to chat. In the lower right-hand corner, there are 3 dots in a little square. If you click on it, it'll have a little thing that says Save Chat. Save Chat. If you do it now, everything after this won't be there. So before you sign off, do it. Thank you, John. Appreciate you sharing with us tonight.
Welcome. I also made a little cherry box with a sapele top.
Oh, nice.
My wife puts her needles in this.
Very nice.
That's it.
All right. Thank you.
John.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, we're at the end of the list, Eddie. So
right.
I believe I'll show what I did this week.
Oh, yeah, because you always come in at the last second. This is the last second.
Yeah, I always try to make sure we get everybody else in before me.
Hey, watch what you say. Doug Rose turned in tonight.
Oh, he finally made it after training?
Or, you know.
I'm here.
All right, let me flip my camera around. So I have ventured into carving.
I saw that I saw that on Facebook.
Seen that on
Yeah.
Facebook. That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. And so did all the carving with my Dremel.
Very nice.
So I painted the outside with homemade black lacquer. And then after it dried, I took garnet metallic acrylic paint and drug the brush around the tops to where only paint would catch the tops of the lines created from the carving. And so I don't know how well the light's picking up or how the camera is picking it up.
I wonder what that was. That's a nice effect. What brand?
That is gorgeous, Dane. I don't think I've got
It's
the
nice
patience for
and
that.
nice.
have to copy it.
It's pretty cool.
What brand of
And
paint?
it's just a piece of skeet. So initially turned about 3/8.
Everybody went dead.
We lost sound?
I don't know.
I hear y'all. I just don't hear Dane.
Yeah, I think we lost Dane.
Oh no, I'm still here.
There he
Yeah,
is.
now
It
he's
just
back.
froze on you.
Huh,
Hey, Dane,
that's weird.
Dane, what brand of paint is that garnet paint?
God, I'd have to go pull it out of my locker. I'll pull it out and let you know.
Thank
I bought it at Ace Hardware.
All right.
Yeah, so it wasn't cheap.
Yeah, you were
But-
talking
but-
about dry brushing there, and then it cut out, and we sort of missed some of that. So
Oh, okay, yeah. So all I was saying was, I just drug the brush around, to where it only caught the tops of the carving lines, so didn't want to have any paint inside the divots. And then so after the acrylic paint dried, I sprayed it with a couple coats of rattle can lacquer. And then so yeah, that's what I did this week.
Very nice, sir. Very nice.
Yeah, thank you. And
How's your hand healing up?
It's getting better. I'm having difficulty gripping smaller items. And I got to take more breaks than normal turning, but yeah, it's doing better. I can at least make almost a fist, but my middle finger is still really swollen and sore.
Good.
But
Good to be healing.
earlier when we were talking about soft touch, so here's my soft touch. And so I got
Oh,
a
you
tennis
play
ball at the
tennis.
end of it. What, Eddie?
Oh, you play tennis?
No, I only use their equipment.
Let's look at the butt end of it. Show us the butt end of it.
You'd best explain what that's for because.
So I
people
got it threaded. So I drilled my hole, and it's threaded to go onto
Your live center.
my live center.
So 3/4 10 tap, standard tap.
3/4 10 tap. So it threads on, and then that's what I use to when I have something here on the lathe, my bowl or whatever, that's going to go against the bowl bottom, and I just press it in. Oh, I can barely do it here with my left hand. Whoop. And I just popped it off. But you only want to compress the ball just a little bit. The ball only has to be compressed a little bit right there. And you got plenty of pressure holding your bowl against your cold jaws or your jam chuck, whatever you have.
And if you hit it with the tool, you cut the tennis ball.
Right.
yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
safe. It's safe. It's effective. It doesn't leave any marring or marking on the bottom of your vessel. So that's what I use.
If you need a tennis ball, folks, and you don't have one, come by my house. My wife walks to the playground every day and comes back with 5 or 6. Her favorite lab, has got 50 or 60 in the backyard. And how do I know? I hit every one of them with the lawn tractor yesterday. I'm getting off and picking them up. That ain't going to happen. So,
Right.
thank you, Dane. Appreciate you showing us and sharing that tip tonight. And we want more on sharing tips. We had Matt tell us that you can use, I call them rubber ducky, but there's several brands of pourable, moldable products out there, or just products that you can drill, tap, put a recess into. I don't think you can put a chuck on them. Maybe you can, but I wouldn't do that. I'd be looking for
You
stability.
can, Eddie, the rubber chuckies actually have a tenon on them, so you can put them in your chuck if you want. So
Okay,
not only do they
dense enough.
have not only do they have the 3/4 by 10 female thread on the one end, but it's also got a tenon on it, so you could put it in your chuck if you wanted.
Yeah. It's a nifty product. I picked up some at SWAT about 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, a long time ago for SWAT. But they're very handy products. And if you're doing something where you, a while ago, we were talking about doing a holdback on something, or put some pressure, and it's not a holding thing. If you put the right amount of pressure, you'll eliminate the vibration that you'll get even in a Longworth. Because if you crush down on the outside of something, you may change its concentric patterns, and that pressure on the downside, and then you go cutting, and you get a very, very slight catch. Guess what? You ended up with 2 turn pieces in 2 different areas. It may be a light fixture in your lap. So with that, please be careful. Try to hold back. I've done the soft touch for 15 years. And I learned that from a workshop at Aramont. And I don't know if Aramont's gone back to classes yet. And John C. Campbell and the other groups. I haven't heard back from them for getting classes.
Aramont is still on virtual classes.
Okay.
And John C. Campbell's going back in May.
In May, okay. That's what we had.
Got a question for Dane?
Go ahead.
Dane, are you familiar with J. Paul Fennell?
No.
Google it. It's the letter J. Middle name is Paul. Last name Fennell. Fennell. He lives in Phoenix.
He's an awesome artist.
There. And he's got, you get into perforated turnings. This is the master of perforated turnings. He's even got stuff in the Smithsonian. So
Oh, really?
Look him up. I think he has some good videos out there too.
Okay. Yeah, I was inspired by Chris Parker over in the UK on doing this, and chatted with him a couple times when I got hung up on what I thought I was having an issue with, which turns out I wasn't having an issue with, just it being a new form for me. It kind of looked odd, but yeah, that's where my inspiration came from.
I watched him do a piece that had a Sorby scroll cutter on the outside, and he cut through, and it was very uniform. It was a piece of basswood, and he did the scroll, and it tapered out to an end, so the scroll looked like it ended in a slight taper. Then he went inside and took off the inside shell until you could see through it.
Yeah.
He did it in a 25-minute demonstration, and an audience full of people, and everybody went, whoa. Because
I'll look him up.
He also sells some tools, some of the bits and stuff for doing the perforated carvings.
Okay. Yeah, so it's not perforated.
Well, but it's the same idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, because if you did that hollowing, I mean, that embellishment work on the outside, and then you went in and thin walled the inside of the piece after the embellishment, you could see through it. You could dance with it. And it's just a technique. Remember, we have the no butt guarantee. I can't say I like that butt. That's not permitted here on Worldwide Woodturners. I just like that. I really do. Can we go back to Dane? Dane, can you pop in for a second?
Huh?
Can you come up for a second? You?
Me?
Yeah. All right. Put down your arm, please. Back on you. All right. Put down the other arm. All right. Folks, you see that decal on Dane's lathe right there? Worldwide Woodturners. One of our members made us about 100 of those decals. And I was selling them in the beginning to cover postage. But one of you sneaky guys or gals mailed me enough money to cover the postage on those 100 decals. So here's the deal. No other deal. Here's the deal. You email me with your name and your mailing address to my personal email address, and I will send you one until they're all gone. No money changes hands. This is from the gratitude of one of your members, one of our members, one of our team. So if you'd like to have one, I just had a question someone today. If you'd like to have one, to my personal email, Captain, C-A-P-N, Eddie Castellan @gmail.com. I'll be glad to put one in the mail to you. Thank you, Dane. Appreciate
you're welcome. And then, Eddie, we have one last entrant.
All right, well, we have one more entrant.
Yes, sir. We got Mr. Brown.
There he is. We knew he was out there.
I was waiting for you.
A miniature ornament here. It's just a disc made out of a piece of 2x4, and I chattered it. And I chattered it on both sides.
And then what'd you color it with?
Felt tip markers. Those artist felt tip markers like you color tops with. Bonnie Klein used them and all.
Yeah.
And how I finished it was there's a 5/16 hole in it to put on a homemade mandrel, jam chuck like, and I turned the little tabs for in the middle of it, the little points for in the middle of it out of cherry, for to give it a contrasting color. It's better there, and the light's better.
And it came out of 2x4?
2x4, yeah.
2x4. Dane, I think you earned a ticket there, bud.
Yeah, I believe so. Let's see if we can find one here.
Oh yeah, I've been on. I've been
Well, we
on there.
got you
Yeah,
another,
Jack Brown.
we got
That's
you another
me.
one, John.
Yep. I've got another one. Well, thank you, but I just thought I'd show you that.
That's
I'm
nice.
making maybe 2 or 3 dozen of them for a charitable institution that I make Christmas ornaments for. So, yep, I'll be making some more of them.
Very nice.
And it's a nice Christmas gift for a child that's in a care center.
Well, yeah, whatever. And
Yeah.
there's some churches, they put them on the little Christmas trees that they raffle off and everything. So, yeah, they're
We
pretty
take
easy to
our-
make.
We take our art and share it with the world. That's what it's all about.
You've got to get a 2x4 with a fine grain. If you get the real coarse grain, it doesn't chatter right.
Ronnie, where do we get that? Ronnie?
Those are the expensive ones. You got to go to Lowe's to get those.
Well, you have to sort through a lot too.
You can't go to a building site and get those?
Well, you can, but I'm not close to one now. It's better for me to run up the road here 8 or 10 miles and sort through Lowe's and buy one for $5 or something than it is to go dumpster diving and hurt myself.
Yeah, $5 for a 2x4. What's the world come to? Thank you, Mr. Brown. Appreciate you joining us tonight and sharing with us.
I don't like to miss it.
Another one of our great turners that come on and share their ideas, their thoughts, their techniques, methods and all. And I got to say this again, I have to say it every night. We're at about 88 people on the air right now with us. We are having a good time. We're talking wood turning, and we invite you to be part of this team. It's a team effort. We don't have any officers. We didn't elect the board. We didn't charge. We don't have elections. None of that. We have wood turners gathered together to talk wood turning, and we want to hear what you say. And if you say, okay, I can't talk on the TV, I can't do this, can't do that, mail it to us at worldwidewoodturners.org. Or, I'm sorry, that's our website, and you got to contact there. Our email is worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. So we're using all the cheap ways to get around because we have no budget, no expenses. We have you, and that's what we're looking for, you. All right, it's coming up on the top of the hour. I am going to sign off because I have a commitment to my wife, my manager, my keeper, that I would stop at 9 o'clock. But we can go to Trey. You can stay with us. You can chat, do whatever you wish. We're going to go to Trey, and he's going to take over as host now, and he will be here, and I'm making him the host. And Trey, it's your bus, sir. But I got to say thank you to each and every one of y'all. If you only knew how much this fills my heart to be able to do this with people I love. This is family I love. You will never know. You will not understand it. But this is the most spectacular part of my week. Thank you.
Thanks for all you do, Eddie.
Thanks, Eddie. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Eddie.
Good week. See you
Good
next
seeing
week.
you
Eddie,
again.
before you
Good
go,
night.
Thank
Good
you,
night,
Eddie.
Thanks, Eddie.
Night all.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody.
Eddie. Take
Who
care.
said, who said before I go?
hey Eddie, it's Doug
Good
Rowe out
night,
in Arizona.
Eddie.
Doug Rowe.
Doug Rowe,
Hey.
can't get an image on you.
Just got to say thanks again for what you did for the Freedom Pens. And I did post it on our Facebook, Worldwide Wood Turners. But I've had a few of them come in now again from some various turners all across the country. But here's something that's really cool that happened because you put this together, Eddie. I got to meet another wood turner in Arizona. He's not on Facebook, but he's on Worldwide Wood Turners. He might be in this meeting still right now, John, if you're out there. And he'd mailed off some black walnut to Kim Tippin. Got to talk to him about the wood he sent to Kim Tippin. Next thing you know, she goes and pops it up and used it in one of her recent videos. And all this connection happened because of this club. This was a guy whose house I literally passed twice a day, going to and from work. We would have never known each other existed if it wasn't for Worldwide Wood Turners. So
How
thanks,
about that?
Eddie.
You're quite welcome, sir. Putting them together and having fun. You all take care. And above all else, I'm going to jump on Jeff's boat. Be safe. We're going to beat this COVID thing. We'll be back turning next Wednesday evening. I hope to see you then. I'll be here. How about you? And bring a friend, please.
Thanks,
God
Eddie.
bless, Eddie.
Take
Yep.
care.
Good night, Eddie.
Thanks, Kate.
Great. You got the driver's seat.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Night, Eddie. Night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
I'm just leaving it open for discussion if anybody wants to stay around.
Sweet.
And now the fun begins.
Happy hour. No, it's always.
Yes, happy hour.
Yep.
Have a question.
Sure.
Yep.
I've been working on a piece of maple, and I like the bright white color of it, sanding it down. But I normally use a oil finish, which then turns it kind of a golden color.
Yep, amber. Mhm.
Are there any finishes that will leave it the bright white?
You can clear coat. If you would like to spray, there are some lacquers that are clear and do not change the color of the wood. There is also some there's something specifically called clear coat that you can clear coat things with.
Yes, I've seen those products.
I've used automotive rattle can clear coat on a couple of products.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that works well.
Automotive clear coat. Automotive clear coat works well. It doesn't yellow.
Okay, I hadn't thought of that. I just wonder if there's anything else.
Parfix 3408.
That's what I was gonna ask, if that Parfix would work.
Yeah, but isn't that best for smaller items?
No,
No,
I
you
do
can
large
use it on
urns and
bowls.
everything with it.
Okay. I've never tried with any type of CA.
Well, this is odorless, it's medical, and it has a time delay built in so that it does not start polymerizing. Like the 3408 has a 40-second time delay before polymerization starts. So that when you wipe it on, you've got a chance to wipe it completely off, right? And then you can let it dry. So, and it's totally clear. And what it does, it stabilizes the wood. It goes into the molecules. And the problem with the regular CAs, people put several coats on it. If you have a large urn or hollow form, right, then you do not want to put an eggshell on it, because as the wood expands and contracts with the change in humidity, you would eventually get a crackling effect. So by having it impregnated into the cells and nothing on the surface, right, you've stabilized the wood and you've created cellulose reinforced acrylic plastic, and it stays totally clear, right? And it just, one coat, wipe it on, wipe it off, and buff it with Von-X. It's almost like glass.
Watch Mark's
Thank you,
video
Mark.
on
I'll
YouTube.
consider that.
Yeah, I do have a video on YouTube. Just look up Mark Soleil.
Yeah, I've already seen quite a yours and have learned quite a bit already.
But look at that one and you'll see. And if you guys want, I can put on a live demonstration for you on this Worldwide Woodturners thing.
Ooh.
And we take you, everybody can see it, you know, step by step by step.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good for you to do, Mark.
Mark, I lied. I'm still around. I was watching on my iPhone. You're in the bag, bud. You're there.
I'm what?
You're in the bag. We got you. You volunteered. We're not letting you get away.
Yeah, no, yeah, I was going to do the demonstration on tenonless next week, but I can.
No, let's do the tenonless next week. We'll get you in the bag for another one.
Okay, that'll work.
We ain't going anywhere. We're right here waiting on you.
What? Yeah, I'll. Yeah,
2 weeks in a row.
I'll what?
2 weeks in a row.
Okay, Brenda, is that what you're putting me into?
Yeah.
She doesn't mind volunteering you at all, does she?
No,
Sound like it.
Sounds like she used to be in the military.
No
Well, you
way.
know,
She can get her fingers unstuck.
I mean,
Somebody was just voluntold.
I don't know what's wrong about y'all, man. I get super glue all over my fingers all the time and I just rub it off.
Yeah, that's what acetone's for.
Yeah, it comes right off. You go take a shower, it all comes right off. No big
It
deal.
just
I
floats
use
off
my
like
wife's
dead
yellow
skin.
pummel stone or whatever she calls it, and that takes it right off my hands. Pummel
Yeah,
stone, pumice stone, whatever
Yeah,
that
you,
thing's called.
you know, put a little acetone on there, it'll cut it right off.
Oh, yeah.
I've had more trouble putting the Parfix 34 on, getting it on my fingers than I have the CA glue.
Well, just
What was that product name that you said a moment ago to replace the CA?
Parfix 3408.
Yeah.
And Mark
Get it
Soleil
from Mark Soleil.
Mark Soleil is the supplier for it. So you're talking to him, sitting, listening to him right now.
Somebody could put it in the chat. I can't.
It already
type fast
is.
enough to do it.
Dave was on it.
No, there it is. It's
actually-
down on the bottom there.
For those that don't know it, this glue, I've been using it for about 13 years, right? It's medical super glue. It comes in 4 different viscosities, right? The Parfix 3408 is 5 centipoids. So it's almost like water. It'll go into less than 1,000th of a crack. Parfix 3460 is 45 centipoids. That's for like the pen turners, people around bushings, right? It'll still soak into the wood, but it's not thin enough to wick down into the bushings and lock everything up. They make Parfix 900, which is 100 centipoid. That's like your standard stick fast or star bond medium. They also make a 3403, which is 1,000 centipoids. And those 4 products are odorless and have the time delay built in for the medical applications. So
I
that-
heard you say it was for the medical applications. That's what made me look at
Right.
it.
And so when the people are using it, the doctors are using it, if you use regular super glue, right, then the fumes would kill you, right? And number 2, right, the reason there's the time delay in there, that's so that doctors, when they're putting together body parts or appliances or whatever in the operation, they can get everything positioned just right. Then they can take a little accelerator and start it to polymerize. But if you put regular super glue in there, which is moisture sensitive, right, then as soon as they got it in there, right, it would automatically start to polymerize, and they may have to reposition it a little bit,
Yeah, super glue was originally invented as a battlefield wound closure.
Yep.
And the exothermic, the cyanide in it and the exothermic curing reaction to water is designed to cauterize and seal wounds. So yeah.
Well, the original super glue was Kodak 910 glue. It was invented by a guy at Kodak, Eastman Kodak Company.
And I've used that in the past to put down strain gauges. Which is how they measure metal movement.
Now, the only other product that I use that comes from Parson Adhesives is I use flexible super glue. So the flexible super glue is what you use when you're joining two different types of wood, right, that have different coefficients of expansion with the changes in humidity. It's sort of a rubber, it stays rubbery, right? So if you use regular super glue to join like an insert on a hollow form to the hollow form, as the two different woods expand and contract differently over time, the crystals would crack. Or the flexible, right, just stays flexible forever. And you
Yeah,
never
I've used the flexible stuff before.
What?
I have used the flexible stuff before as well.
And
for
the
what
other-
you just said, joining two different hardnesses of wood.
Right, and then the other thing that I do, I use, instead of using an acetone accelerator, right? The problem with most people is they take and they spray accelerator that's acetone based, and they just spray the living tar out of this stuff. All it takes is just, that's it. If you just missed it, just a half a shot, as soon as you put accelerator on that, it starts the polymerization process. And then
You can see it happening too.
it's a chain, it's a chain reaction from molecule to molecule. So what I do is I use what the doctors use. They use a heptane-based accelerator because then the heptane doesn't dissolve the super glue like the acetone. And a lot of these people, they spray this acetone-based accelerator on there, and they wonder why they get cloudy and shiny and all this stuff. You know, it's craziness. So because they're dissolving the very product they're trying to make. So now, just to let everybody know, I have no contractual affiliation whatsoever with Parson Adhesives.
What about heptane?
I do this as an individual, right? Because they will not sell any individual an individual bottle. You have to buy case lots. So as I've been going around the country for the last 18 years demonstrating and teaching, right? I just, about every 3 weeks, I order cases and cases and cases of this stuff. I'll give you an example, right? If you go to some of the retail stores, right, that are out there, and you go to buy your 3408, a 2-ounce bottle, right? They want $19.98 for it, right? I sell it for $13, right? And if you go on Etsy right now, there's somebody selling, you know, he's got a sale on that stuff. He's got it from $45 for a 2-ounce bottle, marked down to $25, right? So what I'm doing is I'm helping my fellow wood turners. I'm not out here, you know, making this, you know, my business or anything. I'm busy turning wood, right? I mean, I've got more things going. I mean, I send wood all over this country, right? I just got 2 truckloads, right, of absolutely gorgeous ambrosia maple. I got cherry burls yesterday. I got box elder tonight. So I'm in the wood business. I've got 3 warehouses full of wood. I turn almost every day, a commercial, production turner, and I love wood turning. So what I've done is I have tried to spread the word, and I'm helping people. But I am not affiliated in any contractual way with Parson Adhesives.
I'm using it. You might remember me.
Yeah.
John Brown, I ordered some off you, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago, something like that. And I use it every day on pens.
It's a great product.
Yeah.
And you don't have to deal with that odor.
No, you don't smell it. Boy, that's one good thing about it. It doesn't burn your nose or anything.
Yes.
And Mark, how's the shelf life on this stuff?
Well, it's a medical grade product, right? I went to one guy's shop, had a bottle over 3 years and it still worked just perfect. If you do not contaminate it, right, it doesn't have the impurities that these other Japanese and Chinese gurus do.
That's another question I was going to ask you. On the CA glue, I was told to take the lid off, get rid of it. Don't put it back on. On this, do you have to keep the lid on it, or is it all right?
Well,
lid on it.
It's okay not to have the lid on it, but I would keep the lid on it. Here's the reason why. Right? All super glue is affected by humidity or moisture. Right? And number 2, if you turn around and you spray accelerator in that room and you get one little molecule of accelerator going down that nozzle, it's going to start a chain reaction.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always put the lid on it immediately after I use it.
And the worst thing you can have in your shop whatsoever around any form of super glue is the fungal spalting, right? Those little black fungal lines that are in spalted wood as it's decaying. Those little fungal spores will make super glue explode, right? It is faster than any accelerator on the market.
It's fascinating when you put super glue on those spalting lines because it smokes like crazy.
Well, I'm just telling you, it's like instant.
Yeah, and it's catalyzing instantly. If you put it on normal wood, it might take a couple minutes, especially if it's not wet. It'll take a couple of minutes to start to cure. But if you put it on that spalting, that stuff is smoking by the time, you've moved off of it. Yeah.
But anyway, I've worked with this stuff for about 13 years. And once I started using it, I gave away all my lacquer products and everything. And now I'm just saying this, right? So that people understand this, right? Let's say that you've put your super glue on, you've wiped it off and everything, and you go to buff it. And all of a sudden you see a little blob on there somewhere. All you got to do is take a little 800 sandpaper, just do a little random orbit, take the blob off. And since the wood is totally saturated with it, you don't have to recoat anything. Just put it back on the buffer and you cannot tell, where you sanded or anything because all the wood cells are saturated. It's become cellulose reinforced plastic. So it's totally forgiving.
Okay, guys, I've got to leave now, but I've enjoyed the conversation here on this. So see you next week.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yep. Good night.
Take care.
Good night.
Take care.
Hey, thank you, Mark.
Well, I've had a lot of fun wood turning, and I've enjoyed meeting thousands of wood turners, going around the country. And a lot of people in these clubs know who I am and know what I'm about. And I'm not a quote political person or anything like that. And if you talk to a lot of the major turners that have been going around the country, almost all of them have been to my house, stayed at my house, picked my brain. And what I do is I try to let tools work for me. And I have found tools, I have found things, right, that make my job simple. And it takes all of the quote time, right? If you can slice wood, right, you can, a lot of times you can just start at 400 grit and do your 800 random orbit and then put your finish on. You know, people spend 4 or 5 hours, you know, making a bowl. Right? They spend, you know, all day making a finial, right? Because they don't know how to make the 5 basic shapes, and they don't know how to make the 3 basic tools in their toolbox work.
Hey, Mark,
What?
you know, did you see the bowl I made? One with the
Yeah.
hole in it? Remember last week when we were talking and I had this one on the,
Right?
and it was like this big, you said, cut that thing in half. This
Right.
is it.
There you go.
Cut it down.
All right, now, anyway, just keep working. Brenda, do me
Yeah.
a favor, right?
Yeah.
Sometime tomorrow, right? Because I'm not going to violate the rule of WWW. You call me up, right? And I will have some constructive criticism for you, how to change the dynamic, right, on your bowl project.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
But we're not going to do it on the air because that's against the rules, and I'm not going to violate.
Okay.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
Mark, this is Dave George in Minnesota. Say, make sure I understood you right. Is that you're not supposed to use the Parsons 3408 on spalted wood? Is that what you said?
No, you can use it, but just be aware that the time delay, right, that's built in, right?
Right.
Is going to be reduced greatly if you put it on any of the little fungal stuff.
Such as spalted maple or the cottonwood with the black stone lines and all that.
Right. It just cures faster. That's what he's saying.
Right.
Once you put it on the molecular makeup of the spalted fungus that's causing the spalting interacts with the CA and causes it to catalyze far quicker than normal would.
Okay, that's helpful. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Now you got, hey, Dane.
Yeah.
You and somebody else were using that word catalyze. It actually does not catalyze, it polymerizes.
Polymerizes. Okay.
So, all right. So what happens is the 2 molecules start bumping together, right? They vibrate, right? And when they vibrate, that's what generates the heat, right? And as it cures, the vibration between the molecules slowly slows down, and pretty soon, when the vibrations between the molecules stop, it is now acrylic plastic. That's the process.
Got it.
But
Great
remember, acetone dissolves it. So always some acetone around. But once you start playing with it, right, you will find that it is just an absolute joy to work with.
Right. So prescription bottles, they're made of high grade plastic. And so real handy to keep acetone in. Right there on your bench.
Yep. Don't ever be playing with super glue without acetone around.
Right.
Eventually acetone can break down the plastic though too.
You what?
Eventually acetone can break down plastics too.
That's why I don't use the acetone accelerator. I use the heptane-based accelerators like the doctors do.
Hey, Kate.
Okay. I was wondering that because I actually
5
looked
years.
at an accelerator I had on my shelf and it said heptane, so that's the same stuff. So that's
There you
good to
go.
know. That's
That'll
good
work.
to know. Thanks. Sorry, Dane, what were you
No.
saying there?
No, so I was saying, so this bottle, I've been using this with acetone for 5 years.
Oh, okay. I thought
Yes,
you meant like the pill bottle type plastic ones, not the liquid type.
Right. It's, yeah.
That'll work well.
Screw on, it's got the seal.
Yeah.
It's great. It's got a big mouth.
Yeah, I get the amber glass bottles and I usually transfer it to that. It works well too.
Yeah.
But
Definitely handy.
And another thing, hey, Dane, for
yeah.
all those that are listening, I'm just going to say this since we're talking about this stuff. If I go to fill a crack, right, the first thing I do, right, is I take that crack and I spray it with the accelerator, right, and then I tap in whatever I'm going to tap in, be it bark chunks or dust or whatever, and I always tap it so that it vibrates and that settles all the little particles down, right? And then I put in the 3408. And when I do that, then it goes down through the dust or whatever I put in there. And when it hits the accelerator at the bottom of the crack, it starts curing from the bottom up and you get a total solid fill.
Right. That's what I've been doing since you gave me that advice almost a year ago now. Yep.
And it works.
also, yeah, it also creates a vacuum, so it sucks it right in, penetrating through all that dust and actually solidifying and stabilizing it as a whole.
Now there's one caution, right? When you're using super glues, right? If you have wood like wet box elder, if you put super glue on it, it's going to turn it chartreuse, right? And so you'll have a chartreuse stain, right? One of the things that I use a very simple rule, right? If I'm going to finish with super glue, right, then I bond or seal or use crack filling with super glue. If I'm going to use a wipe on poly, right, for a finish, right, then what I'll do is I'll take like Bartley's gel, and if I need to fill a crack or glue something, then what I do is I just take some mineral spirits and I dilute the poly. I dilute it 50-50 with mineral spirits. Then I use that to fill cracks with the dust or to stabilize the wood or whatever. I don't cross, I don't like put super glue on something and then try to finish it with poly, because the super glue will saturate the cells. And when you put the other finish on, then you'll have a shiny spot and a dull spot. So whatever I finish with, that's what I glue or stabilize with. And you never see, it all looks the same.
No.
Is anybody?
Turns it yellow, huh? Turns it chartreuse, huh?
What?
Turns it chartreuse?
Yeah, it'll turn it chartreuse. If you put it on the wet stuff and then just let it dry, there's some type of chemical reaction. It'll turn that wood chartreuse. So the only thing that I would, like if I'm turning an end grain bowl, right, then what I would do, let's say it's box elder. Right? So to stabilize it, what I would do, when I get done turning it green, then I spray accelerator on the inside bottom of the bowl, because that's where the pith is. On the back side of the bowl is where the tenon is. Then I saturate with the 3408 down the pith and the cracks or whatever. And the accelerator that I sprayed on the front keeps it from coming through. It makes it, cure before it comes through to stain the surface. And I don't care if the tenon gets stained because that's coming off at the end anyway. So always spray.
That was the tip.
Always spray, right? If I'm doing a hollow form, right? I always put the super glue on the inside of the rim, and I always put the super glue on the tenon if it's end grain.
Yep.
It keeps it from cracking.
Keeps it from cracking.
Right? And never, ever, ever leave a sharp edge on anything that you turn green. If you have a sharp edge, then that little sharp edge will dry out and it'll start a micro crack, and it'll want to try. Always round off the edges, and then after it dries, you resharpen. But I went around this country for about 18 years before COVID, right? All these wood turning clubs and everything, and doing these hands-on workshops. And there's 1,000 ways to do things, right? Some of the things that I discovered over these years, it's to make tools work for me, right? And so that when I go to my shop, I experience joy. And once you have the process down, then all this wood turning becomes fun, because then what you're doing is you're dealing with shapes. You're doing, I show my little bud vases. I show my little tea light candles. Every one of them has what? Cracks, ant chambers, all these little things that I create focal points. So instead of going out and having that plain piece of wood, right, I can charge big bucks for what I make because it becomes art, and nobody else is doing it out here in the wood turning community. And 99% of everything that I turn as far as bowls is all end grain, because I can get 4 times as much for an end grain bowl than I can for a side grain bowl.
Yeah, true story. Especially if you've got live edge on it.
Well, and not only that, but you take your ambrosia maples and stuff like that. You take right. So now people don't see that. And then the other thing I do is I make whalebone bowls, right? So hardly anybody ever a whalebone bowl. And so I can charge, when people look at it, it's so spectacular. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this piece of wood, right? Well, it's very simple. I think I showed it one time on one of those when I had, but I'll do a special thing some night on whalebone bowls.
There you
That'd
go,
be
3
cool.
weeks in a row.
Fascinating.
I'd like to see that. Is that
What?
similar to the whalebone forms Max Brosey does? His are more sculptural.
Well, what you do is you're using a crotch.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what you're doing is you're using a crotch, but you don't cut it traditionally. If you cut a crotch traditionally through the 2 Ys, the 2 forks up there, then you get what they call feather fans.
Yep.
If you change that around and you cut it 90 degrees from that, if you cut off the 2 Y sections, and
so now you're cutting through the feathering?
I don't want the feathering. I want to cut 90 degrees.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, watch. You see my fingers?
Yes.
All right, let me just set my phone down here for a second.
I'm gonna spotlight you, Mark.
Got it.
I do.
Okay, if I cut across the Y, then down here in the crotch, I get feather fans, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
And now we're gonna cut through the crotch like this. And we're gonna cut a wide side. We're gonna have the bifurcation, then we're gonna cut a shallow side.
Okay. Oh, you turned your camera off there
I hit,
and mute. Now you're muted.
Video's
and your
still off.
camera's
I'm gonna
muted.
unspotlight him. Okay.
I don't know what I did here.
You turned the camera
Babe.
off, Mark.
Yeah, must have accidentally turned your camera off there.
It says your video is stopped. Okay.
So the bottom left, you'd turn your video back
Okay.
on.
I am clicking to go to meeting.
There you are.
He's back.
There you are.
Can you see me? I can't see anything.
Yeah, we can see you now. So you were talking about cutting through that fan rather than